I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Thursday, May the 9th, and I have been on the highway to hell since about 11:45 p.m., I believe. Big mistake last night.
Yeah.
And I'm just on a, you know what? I'm on a roll right now. I'm wide awake and probably going to hit a wall in the next 30, 40 minutes.
Same old last.
I've already been up for hours and hours and hours. Funny thing that happened to me last night for the first time since coming here in the first week of January of 2023. So that's 16 months ago, for God's sakes. I went to bed. I got in bed early. I looked at my phone. I set my alarm, and I, for the first time, did not set the do not disturb setting.
No,
I don't turn the ringer off because then that's pointless. I hit do not disturb. Therefore, if my wife or kids call, I hear the phone. But last night, I didn't do that.
Yeah.
And it was fine. Got to sleep early. Guess who called at 11:30? The city of Nashville, Tennessee. Called my phone.
Hi, Steve.
To tell me in like a robocall, there's bad weather. Get inside. So in case anyone else is out there wondering what happened in Tennessee last night, I guess there was bad weather. I don't care.
It's 11 o'clock at Steve's house. All is quiet.
This is a high priority alert from Metro Nashville government.
A National Weather Service alert from the Metro Emergency Alert and Notification System. A flash flood warning has been issued for your area.
That sounds
Press
serious.
1 to
I'm
confirm
in
receipt.
Minnesota.
It was very professional.
You didn't get on the horn and start calling family and
By the way,
friends?
so I
Press
actually
2 to
answered
replay
the
this
first call.
message.
then I answered it and heard that, and then turned my phone off, and then laid wide awake while they kept on calling.
This
They
is
left
a
3
high
of those
priority
voicemails.
alert from Metro Nashville.
Get to
Which
high
I-
ground.
First of all, okay, but I didn't sign up for this. So here's the point. I'm in a bad mood. I've been up since midnight.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is like, I feel like it's 4 p.m. already. I'm ready to,
Welcome to my everyday.
And I come in here, and the first thing I see, the first story I look says 4 bad morning habits and 4 good ones. And I don't see on this list, get a weather alert from 900 miles away. And then of course what happens is then the dog starts going. But about 1:30, he's like,
Oh, did you take him out?
oh, yeah, take him out. But then he goes right to the food bowl because he's like, I don't know, it's probably 5 a.m. time for breakfast, right?
Sure.
Whew. 4 bad morning habits to avoid. Okay, well, there's 5. First, don't get calls from a 900-mile away weather
Shut
up there.
that phone off.
Don't wake up to an alarm. That's the other thing it says. That's immediate anxiety. Waking to music, the radio is much better. So, by the way, if anybody has set their clock radio like it's 1981 to this show right now, I'm sorry that I'm the first thing you're hearing.
I can't do that because I fall asleep to the radio. So I'm not going to wake up to the radio.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I like to turn on the tunes as I
we
crash
had
out.
a clock radio when I was a kid in high school that we would come on the radio and it just gradually got louder.
Okay.
It came on and then over the course of like 60 or 90 seconds it just went up and up and up and up and up and then finally would wake you up.
Yeah.
And then I got a clock radio once for Christmas. 3 of us sharing a bedroom, and this was under the tree. Here's a clock radio for the boys, and we opened it up, and it had this amazing feature. It was also a clock radio that could be used by people who were deaf because it had a flashing light.
Oh.
So you could set an alarm where it just started flashing a light in your eyes.
Cool.
And we were like, oh my God, that's so cool. We'll do it. It lasted 1 day.
Yeah.
And then it blasted my brother awake with light, and he just smashed it, and the light never worked again.
What a fun Christmas present.
Isn't that a great Christmas present? Yeah, we were all around the tree.
You know you're not a kid anymore when Santa leaves you an alarm clock.
So don't wake up to an alarm. And then here's number 2. Don't immediately try to problem solve.
Don't worry, I won't.
Well, see, that's my problem. When I wake up, if I wake up at, whatever, a.m., early morning for the show, I get up, go about my things, and my brain's dead.
Okay.
When I wake up at midnight or 11:45 because someone's warning me about it, then I'm laying in bed. Then I am trying to solve problems.
Yeah.
I'm going back in time. I'm like, oh, if I'd only said this then. That's what I'm doing.
God, I do the
trying
same
to fall
thing.
asleep. I'm looking ahead. I'm looking back. It's insane. And I know because I've learned this lesson 50,000 times. Wake up, turn on the lights, open a book and start reading,
Yep, exactly.
and then I'll fall asleep. But do I do that? Oh, no. No, I lay there in bed insisting I'll probably get some deep breaths and sleep while trying to remember when I should have done this in 1994.
Yeah, no, I give it about 10 seconds, and I'm like, nope, not happening. And I get up, and a book would be a nice touch. I turn on the PS5 and immediately go to some video game.
Start shooting stuff.
Right, then I set the alarm to interrupt my video gaming so I can go to work.
I do really well when the lights are on. I wake up, I clear my head, but it's the hardest thing in the world to do. I don't know why I can't do it. I know it's like looking at me going, "This is good for you," and I go, "But I don't want to do it. I don't want to admit that I'm awake." So I'll lay here in the dark.
I'm not awake. I'm not awake.
Yeah, in a confused state with a moaning dog next to me.
Why would you be awake when?
This is a high priority alert from Metro Nashville government.
A National Weather
Thanks for
Service alert from the
nothing.
Metro
I hope
Emergency.
those
No, people are in
okay
trouble.
down there.
Yeah, and by the way, like we have the location services on our phones, the family does.
Yeah.
And Rosemary's in Nashville this week, as is my son. And so I just look, I'm like, well, I hope they're not out or anything. And then they're both at home, and I'm like, well, they haven't called. That's my weather alert.
Yeah.
For, like what? I didn't ask for this. Anyway, there you have it. So bad habits for the morning, good habits for the morning. We've got a lot to talk about this weekend. Zepp and I have a little roadie. We got a road trip coming up, you and me.
Yeah, we're going to go blow up some fish. I've got dynamite. I've got beer. I just need a lake full of fish.
I'm gonna fulfill my dream of being the John Candy character on SCTV, the fishing musician. Can't wait. So we've got a lot to get into. Hang tight.
The KQ Morning Show is back. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It's Thursday, May the 9th. We started talking about poor ways to wake up in the morning. We already got a text on the KQ Talk and text line 651-989 Rock. Leah said, the Bose Clock Radio just serenaded me awake to Highway to Hell, which we played right before the open. I hope that's not a sign of the day to come. Not at all, Leah. You're set up for a beautiful day. When you wake up to Highway to Hell, come on, man, it's a downhill run.
Yeah, well, that's literally what the song was written about, a downhill run to a bar on the Highway to Hell in Australia. Yeah,
that's exactly right.
You're headed for happy hour, Missy.
Zepp and I are going to be on the Highway to Hell this weekend. Going down, well, but not hell, but Lake City.
Well, yeah, I guess. I mean, in a good connotation,
Yeah.
Lake City, very idyllic. One of my favorite cities in
Oh,
Minnesota.
Lake City's pretty. Yeah.
And by the way, happy to say I've been there. I know it, and it is gorgeous. I went down to Wabasha last summer.
Yes, sir.
Family, a good friend of mine has a big family get-together there every 4th of July. We went down, and on the way, of course, stopped in Lake City, and now the Governor's Fishing Open this weekend.
Right, that's right.
And we're going to go. Me and Zepp, we're going to go. I'm going to compete. I plan to catch, 642. What fish are we going for?
We're probably going to go for some gar. Some river gar. No, I don't know what we'll be fishing for. My guess is panfish, probably.
Great.
Maybe we'll do some jigging for walleye. I don't know what they have planned there for. I haven't been to one of these governor fishing openers. Generally, anything with politicians and media people, I vehemently avoid.
You got to be in the same boat.
I don't know. I would love to push the governor of the state of Minnesota off a pontoon into Lake Pepin.
There, yeah.
Well, they don't have that, but they do have that dunking booth thing that we can. You just gotta make sure your shoulders warmed up.
I wonder if he floats. He's got a big pot belly.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. What the hell we're doing? We're wading into one of these things, and
we're gonna.
It could be a good time.
You know what we're doing? We're gonna go make the best of it. We're gonna go have a good time. We're gonna catch some fish. We're gonna pretend to catch some fish. We will say at the very least we will say we caught some fish.
If you can't get out of it, get into it.
Yeah, outdoorsman.
Yeah, man.
Right.
Listen. When you see the outdoors, you think of me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You're rustic.
And you think good thing Steve isn't here.
I think brawny paper towels.
He'll just complicate this. Yeah. When I see him, I think about absorbent toweling.
Yeah.
I think about cleaning up those spills that haunt me throughout my life.
Oh, breaking news.
Oh, here it is.
A National Weather Service alert from the Metro Emergency Alert and Notification System.
It's gonna haunt me forever.
No, I said this is breaking news. Charles Trail on the KQ Facebook Morning Show Facebook page.
Okay.
He sent favorite slang terms for penis. This is throughout old ones throughout history.
Oh, really?
Want to hear a handful?
Oh, well,
handful of penis terms.
What kind of question is that? Yeah, a handful of penis terms is exactly what I want to hear.
1602, Kicky Wicky.
Kicky Wicky?
All right, that's kooky.
1613, Long Plum.
Ooh, hang on.
That sounds like it probably needs looked at. I'm thinking purple.
That's what I'm thinking, too. No, I just woke up and had a swollen long plum, didn't I?
1720, Silent Flute.
Silent flute. Wow.
Yeah, speak for yourself. Mine makes noise.
That's right.
1888, Liver Disturber.
What?
Liver disturber?
That's
What
bragging.
position is that?
Yeah. What position is
that makes me think of a joke I heard on Curb Your Enthusiasm, which I am not at liberty to share on this show, but trust me, there was a liver disturber going on.
A few more. Master of Ceremonies, Father Confessor.
Wait. The Master of Ceremonies?
Yeah, I kind of like that.
Oh, that's pretty great. I just top hat and tails and a bullwhip like the guy at the circus.
Yeah, it's got a better ring to it than, say, pork sword or something like that.
What'd you say? The Confessor? What was that?
Father Confessor,
Confessor.
Quimstick, Ambassador, Dingle Doodle Dingwalla, Snorker, and Corned Beef Torpedo, the 1975.
Well, I was going to say, we have certainly come up to the 20th century with that one.
It's better than the South Dakota tube steak.
God. But
Wow.
did you guys, like growing up or kids, did you have like funny names for the wiener? Because when I was a kid, I don't know why, for some reason, I called it my Eisenhower.
Wow. That's fun. I'm laughing because I called mine Ike. So, I just went with I like Ike. It was just we had the same thought. We just went with a different vibe.
I've already used mine.
And then oddly, my brothers called his Dewey Defeats Truman. It was such a weird, late
He's a
40s,
big guy.
50s political scene nicknames we gave. I'm trying to think, but nothing out of the usual. I mean, I heard some good ones along the way. There was always the John Thomas, and I have a friend named John Thomas, so of course he just spent his whole life just being ridiculed for having that name. I always liked that the British just call it a chopper.
Oh, funny.
The chopper.
Chopper, right? Wow. Are they using it right?
One of the greater things. In 1991 on the road, the band hired my cousin Jeffrey to come work for us on the road, just to be a general assistant, and he was always running shtick. But his first day on tour, he asked if he could have everyone's attention, and he goes, "Guys, I'm here for you. You need something done? You call me. Chop, call me Chopper." It was this whole thing, and we had just had our first trip to England, and we were like, "All right, Chopper," and we called him Chopper all year, just knowing we're going to be in England soon, and we're going to show up with a crew member named Chopper.
I couldn't like
it. He couldn't live it down. It was 6 months later, there was no turning back on that nickname.
Yeah, no, I like that. I've always liked Dong. For some reason, just a dong. It's almost comical, childish.
Sure.
It's got a nice. That's the one you can say in front of your mom. Mom, I've got a sore on my dong. What do you think?
Oh. Poor dear.
Yeah.
Wasn't there wasn't there some reference to just on me old John Hancock? And I feel like there's a Monty Python where they call it the John Hancock.
I think you're right.
Something like that. It just reminds me another. So I have a friend named John Thomas. I have another buddy who is a great comedy writer. He was the head writer for Kids in the Hall, and then he wrote King of the Hill. I mean, he's written a bunch of stuff.
Bad.
And his name is Norman Hiscock.
Oh, I've seen that name in the credits.
Norm and Hiscock. That's what he was called his whole childhood. Hey, there's Norm and his cock.
Yeah.
It's just like, yep, that's me.
Right here I am with my cock.
It's a tough one.
I think he wrote for
Hollow
30
Point.
Rock, too.
Probably. He's done a lot of stuff. And with a name like that, you're going to go into comedy. You're just going to have to vent. You're going to have to find a way through it.
Buddy in the Army used to call his undercover brother. I don't know.
Oh, funny.
My undercover brother.
Wow.
Taking my undercover brother out tonight. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Undercover brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we used to go with there was the early 70s Shaft, the film, the soundtrack.
Trousers Snake was always a very popular one. Yeah.
Tube steak smothered in underwear. That was always the order at the restaurant. I got a tube steak smothered in underwear.
They're special.
Wonder who could say that. There's so many. I mean, there's just
let your imagination go.
But nothing. Yeah, but you know what though? I do prefer the 1700s. I think those early ones were pretty good.
Sure.
Dingus, Dirk. Now they're all coming back to me.
No.
Master John Goodfellow.
So respectful.
Yeah, that is pretty respectful. And then and then you follow that up with, Schlong or Schmeckel. You got all these words. All right, fair enough.
John Thomas.
I like the best part about this is that Tony viewed this topic as breaking news.
Yes.
He broke into the telecast like it's the Peter Jennings. Hey, we coming out of the commercial break.
Priority
this
one.
just in. This just in. We've got to talk about our man roots.
The baby maker. The bald avenger.
Big Jim and the twins have something to say.
The Twig and Berries. That was
the Twig
Austin
and Berries.
Powers.
This is always
the
a
old
good
Twig
one.
and Berries.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the Twig and Berries and Austin Powers, we are moments away, ladies and gentlemen, from the Mike Evans Hollywood Report. So hang tight.
The KQ Morning Show is back, and we always want to hear from you. Call or text 651-989-ROCK. 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Thursday, May the 9th. This show has successfully been co-opted unexpectedly. Boner talk. Why not? Holy smokes. We've got ourselves a topic that no one saw coming. See what I did there?
Pardon the pun?
Slang terms for the front office. Men and women, everybody's welcome. Feel free. Tony, we're already getting text messages by the dozen, apparently.
We are. Some wonderful references from something about Mary. Remember what he said? Is it the beans of the Frank?
Oh, right, the beans of the Frank. That was a good one.
Wiener name, heat-seeking moisture missile.
I remember
very
that
highbrow.
one. That was a high school winner. Yeah. Sure.
Peter Hungwell.
Yeah.
Peter Hungwell.
And you had mentioned Monty Python. They said, Tallywhacker.
Oh,
You know what I used to hear a lot from the gals was Pinky. Did you guys ever get that
Little
one? No.
Pinky. Oh,
Because it's pink, right?
okay, tiny.
Is that why?
I'm on the Stanford website. Yes, stanford.edu, that high center of learning out west there. And they have some on here, some slang terms for penises on their Stanford website. Blastocyst.
Oh,
That's
I
smart.
like Blasto. I don't like the cyst
Cyst?
part.
I mean,
God.
these smart kids over. Blastocyst.
good.
No, blue-veined custard chucker.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
Oh, it's Betty Crocker.
The old custard chucker.
Oh, man. Well, I was just alone, me and the bold-headed hermit.
Hey, ladies, you can get in on this, too. I've been out to some happy hours. I know how you ladies talk amongst yourselves. What are some slang terms for the ladies? 651-989-ROCK.
No shortage of those. We may actually have a caller already who wants to share something with us, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, sure. Let's check in with George from Brooklyn Park.
George, good morning.
Hey, good morning, guys and gals. How's it going?
All is well. I'm almost afraid to ask. What have you got for us?
Well, I lost a buddy of mine after 50 years. Passed away in January. He had a really good one. It was the purple German helmet.
Wow. Man, sorry for your loss, but he's living on through that one for sure. That's a good one.
And then also, I've always called it, he's my little buddy, Willie the One-Eyed Wonder. He goes everywhere with me.
He sees all.
Oh, man. Oh, well, you're 2 for 2, brother. We appreciate you listening, and thank you for the call.
Wow.
All right, you guys stay hard.
Yeah. Oh, my God. This day's already done for. So we've got so far I like that. I like the purple. What was it? The purple German helmet, or what did he say?
The purple German helmet.
Yeah, shaking hands with the bishop was always
Oh,
a
yeah,
bit
yeah,
of a
that's-
euphemism.
yeah.
And then there's also this one, the Mike Evans Hollywood Report. Let's do that. It is time. Hey!
Hey, good morning, Minneapolis, St. Paul, and the lovely Candace and Tony and Steve and Zepp. Everybody, good morning to Thursday. One more day, we got the weekend. And what better way to spend part of the weekend than at Marcus Theaters? Tomorrow, I'll have some movie reviews. There'll be some holdovers of other good movies. Marcus Theater, the best theater chain in the country. Well, I got a lot of TV news for you today. The people behind the television show The Office have gotten the green light to do a copy-type show on Peacock. Now, it will not be at the paper company Dunder Mifflin. Instead, it is set at a failing Midwest newspaper. And instead of Steve Carell as the main star of this new show will be Domhnall Gleeson. Well, Domhnall Gleeson is Brendan Gleeson's son. I think it's going to be good. Saturday Night Live have announced the 2 final hosts for the 2024 season. On May 11th, this coming Saturday, it will be Maya Rudolph. And on the finale on May 18th, it'll be Jake Gyllenhaal. I look forward to it. Speaking of Saturday Night Live, Lorne Michaels will produce the 20th Century Fox movie, the biopic, called The Chris Farley Show in 3 acts. It'll be directed by Josh Gad, written by Chris Farley's brother, Tom Farley Jr., and Paul Walter Hauser will play Chris Farley. I like the casting. Chris Farley, may he rest in peace. Little TV show business. Direct and Dish TV lost 349,000 subscribers in the first quarter. I'm not surprised. In Hawaii, we would call it 5-0 news, a.k.a. the crime beat. Is it true at least one more sexual assault criminal charge could be filed against Kevin Spacey? He's beaten 3 other trials, but stay tuned. So, Harvey Weinstein was thrilled when he heard the news that his New York rape conviction had been overturned and a retrial ordered. Well, not so fast there, sleaze. Already convicted in Los Angeles of sex crimes and serving easy time in Los Angeles in a private cell, TV, nice bed, and so on. Well, that's not happening now. Flown back to New York for retrial, which will not start till September 9th. Sleaze is now waiting for the trial to start in the filthy, dangerous Rikers Island prison in New York with, I hear, 3 cellmates and part of the general population. Good for him. Huge Broadway news. One of my favorite people, Robert Downey Jr., will make his Broadway debut in October. The play is called McNeil, the storyline being kept secret, but I hope to be there opening night. We will have movie reviews tomorrow, and going to be a big weekend for Marcus. Have a great day. Talk to you tomorrow, Mike Evans. See ya.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It's Thursday, May the 9th. We are discussing, and boy, are we being inundated with listener calls and texts. We're discussing the names we give our own private parts. For instance, Sweet Child of Mine is what I call my penis. Thank you, Axl Rose, for that song. Zepp, you said you started to watch the Let It Be, which is released on Disney Plus yesterday.
Yeah.
Directed by, oddly enough, a name I also use for my penis, my Michael Lindsay Hogg.
That's perfect.
I've heard Winston Churchill before used, because if you look at Winston Churchill and then you look at your wiener, yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I get it.
Yeah, no. Sir Topham hat you could go with as well.
King ding
for
dong.
all the parents out there who know what the heck that means. The womb broom is one I'm seeing on the KQ Talking text line. The womb broom. Good Lord. We have a lot of text, Tony.
Right under it is one that made me laugh out loud. My friend called his Curious George.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Adorable.
Curious George. I like it.
Oh, I like that. I used to work in a place called Plains Cafe as a busboy when I was a kid. Yeah. And the chef back there always referred to as his chef special, and he'd grab his crotch.
Oh, my God.
I got the chef special for her.
The chef special. Well, if we're going with Curious George, then I mean, it's just one step over to Harold's Purple Crayon. As long as we're, if it's, I guess, let's just go ahead and complete the thought. If you're uncircumcised, you could call it the Cat in the Hat.
The pink oboe.
Yeah. Why not? 651-989-ROCK is the talk and text line. I believe we have a call or two. Is that correct, Ryder?
If we're lucky, Kevin is still here. Kevin from St. Cloud.
Kevin, good morning.
Kevin?
Not hearing Kevin.
Hello.
Hey, what do you got for us, brother?
Well, I call mine Winky, the one-eyed wonder worm.
Wow.
But when I have to relieve myself, I just refer to it as shaking hands with our governor.
Yeah, there
you go.
Yeah. Fair enough.
I've been listening to KQ for 35 years, and this is the first time I've been on the air, and I'm feeling a little emotional, guys.
Welcome.
Yeah.
35 years of waiting. Thank you for the call, Kevin. I'm happy to finally get you on here.
It's my pleasure. I love listening to you guys. You do an awesome job.
Thank you, brother. We do appreciate that. Oh man, there's if you look at those old, there's always a link you'll see about the Shakespearean insult. It's like the three lists, and you just take an adjective and then this, and you add it to something. But it also you put them together, and you get things like a gleeking, fat-kidneyed barnacle. That's all these bizarre terms from Shakespeare's many works. Oh, you bawdy base court bladder. It's just which all seems like they would apply here as well. Right. Man, oh gosh,
I know.
Seriously.
Beef bayonet is a good one.
No, beef
not
bayonet.
Bad. Turkey neck. Have you ever seen the turkey neck? The cooked turkey necks. Dead on, unfortunately. Tallywhacker. That's an old one. The spam javelin.
Oh, that's funny.
Wow. Yeah, weapon of mass destruction. I don't know. That sounds ominous.
It certainly does. Yeah. We Tony shared a few old school ones. I like the old. I like going way back. Into the decade or centuries ago.
Yeah.
I still can't get over the liver disturber or the kidney buster. The idea that you're going into the internal organs. That's just man.
Yeah, work on your aim.
That's really selling it.
I think so. Okay, I just came across the first one I will not share on the air.
Yeah.
Just can't do it. Sorry.
No?
No. Which means I'm going to share it. The cooter polluter. Sorry.
The cooter polluter. Yes.
It had to be done. These things happen. Boy, there are other things happening in the world today, but you just get stuck on certain things, and you just got to feel like this is what we're doing. And by the way,
disco stick I remember my daughter. That just popped into my head. We're in the truck. She's, Dad, can I play my tunes? Absolutely. Hook it up, kid. And I'm listening to Disco Stick. I forget who sings it, and maybe I never knew who sang it. And I'm listening to it, and I'm looking at her. She's like 14 or 15. I'm like, is he singing about his disco stick? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, do you know what he's singing about? She goes, I don't know, disco, dancing. I'm like, are you just pandering to Dad right now? I don't know what's going on here, but that's not what he's singing about. And I just let it go. And then pretty soon I started singing along with it. Sure. Disco stick, happens. Yeah.
Speaking of the private parts, over in Wisconsin, this just in Waukesha County.
Oh yeah.
The Waukesha County Jail lobby at 3 a.m. a couple nights ago.
Right.
A gentleman, a 28-year-old gentleman, and his girlfriend, who is 68. That's a 40-year difference. They walked into the Waukesha County Jail lobby at 3 a.m., laid down on the floor, and just started getting to it.
Well,
a jail supervisor saw them on surveillance camera, called a deputy who said, hey, there's some people copulating in the lobby of the jail.
I'm not like, what the heck?
He walked in to break it up. The deputy said they've been dating 5 years. They were planning to go to a boarding house. They got locked out, had nowhere else to go. So they walked into the county jail entrance and decided to do it right there. The gentleman, when questioned, why would this happen, his response was, hey, man, sex happens sometimes.
Well, sex does just happen sometimes. Was there no one on duty? I mean, you could just walk into the...
I guess no one's working the desk that late. I'm not really sure. Wow. Well, there's that.
They weren't even having sex. That was from a Cheech and Chong movie. I think they were trying to get out of the van, weren't they? Remember that?
The handle was stuck.
Tommy Chong, and he was trying to get out of the van. Yeah, just like, yeah. Some people are really into that. I dated a gal once. She always wanted to go outside and let's go have sex in the alley. Someone might see it. She was a voyeuristic, right? A voyeur. She was into that. She had a convertible, and she'd like to just...
Well, she was an exhibitionist. The person who watched would be the voyeur.
Oh, the voyeur. You're right. Yeah. Okay, thank you, Tony.
Which would be you.
She was... Yeah, right. I'm a
just
watcher.
To clarify.
I'm a watcher. If I see people having sex in public, I'll stop and watch. I'm curious like that. I want to see how it's done. What's their technique? But she was, you're right, the exhibitionist, and I never really could get comfortable with it. I just never, out in public, and there's a risk, that wasn't my thing. But some people really and that's what trips their trigger. I'm guessing these two were. I'm looking at the video. I don't think he knows her. I mean, I think she just passed out in the police lobby, and he just walked in and was like, "Hey." She's like, "Sure, why not?" This isn't porn. This would not turn anyone on. These are ugly people.
You're saying it's not porn, but it's also not. It's not an exhibition of love. Is what you're saying. You don't feel that they have a connection.
I love that he walks in and 4 minutes later he walks out. You talk about a wham bam, thank you, ma'am. Good grief.
Goodness gracious. 651-989 Rock is the talk and text line here at KQ. Do we have another phone caller or writer?
Yeah, let's check in with Steve from Egan.
Steve, good morning, sir. Steve-O.
Little Stevie.
What's happening, brother? What do you got for us?
I would call it the purple helmeted warrior.
Purple helmeted warrior.
I don't know. Maybe you're gripping it too tight. Is anyone else's purple?
Yeah, there was someone did text.
What's the difference between pink and purple?
What is it? What?
The grip.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Good point.
Yeah, someone did text in. They said, "Who's this purple? You better get that checked."
Yeah,
these things happen.
That's
Someone forgets 8th grade apparently.
No,
hey, thank you for the call, Steve. We appreciate it. Man.
What about Indiana Bones?
That's funny.
Oh jeez. Oh my God. Lady Gaga. Okay. Maybe that's the name for it. That's from a woman saying Lady Gaga. Do we have another call, Ryder?
Yeah, sure. Let's talk to Scott in Litchfield. Hey, Scott.
Hi.
What do you got for us, Scott?
Big Jim and the Twins.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I like it. That's classic.
Standard classic right there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you never want to go Little Jim and the Twins, but you could. I mean, it's all the same.
Sure. Depending on the temperature.
Thank you for that, brother. When I was in high school, my brothers and I, we went to a small school, and we were the self-designated nicknamers. We gave a lot of people their nicknames, and the reason we were good at it is because we didn't overthink it. Things happen. The first thing comes out, and it would always stick like crazy glue. There was a kid in our school, Robbie. He was a year younger than me, and at some point there was a conversation about how he kind of looks like a penis. Just looking like this, his body shape, his head shape. There was just a thing, and it turned into we were running shtick, and we were actually literally running laps in basketball practice. And he would always get this weird sort of laugh. He just always under his breath.
Nervous laugh.
And I just as a follow up to the conversation before practice, as we're running laps in the practice warm up, I said the human penis, and that was it. HP.
Done.
He was HP because we had seen the HP sauce, that British brown sauce. He was HP. Later shortened to simply P.
Yeah.
So for
when Hewlett Packard tried to sue him.
So this poor kid is in 7th or 8th grade, and for the rest of his time, I mean, he was literally just P. And there'd be nobody even questioned.
Hey, P.
Hey, P. What's up? It's just P. That was it.
Just
P.
P. No, just P.
Just P.
And that's why kids leave their hometown. Oh, I'm not going to say this one. That's all right. Well, it's deep sea diver, but the letter C.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. You got your meatsicle.
The meatsicle. Holy smokes.
That's my go-to from now on. Oh, your meatsicle could use it.
It works two ways, MEA or MEET.
Oh, that's a hot
right.
day, Maria. How about I get out the meatsicle?
Oh my God.
Oh, you smooth talker.
Do you have any dry ice? Because we could make this whole thing. We could really go literally with this. Hey, in about 40 minutes, we're going to be giving away tickets for a chance to we're going to give away tickets to the Outlaw Music Festival. Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, and John Mellencamp. Are you kidding me?
Outside Somerset, baby.
That's going to be happening around 8 o'clock. In the meantime, we do have some other stories to share with you, or maybe we'll just keep on talking about our Schwanstückers. This is the KQ Morning Show. Hang tight.
The KQ Morning Show is back. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Thursday, May the 9th. That was a band from Liverpool, England. Oh, hang on. I lost my note. The Beatles. That's what they were called. The Beatles.
Not bad.
4 lads who shook the world, I believe they've been referred to. The Fab Four. That song, Get Back, features in the Let It Be movie. The original movie of the 1969 sessions that was released in 1970 is called Let It Be.
Yeah.
A few years ago, Peter Jackson released the 8-hour saga Get Back, but now the original Let It Be, the hour-and-a-half Michael Lindsay Hogg directed film has been rebuffed and refurbished and remastered and all that. That hit Disney Plus yesterday. And Brian Zepp, you put that bad boy on yesterday at some point.
Yeah, I lost track of daylight yesterday, got home a little late, and I thought, don't watch it. It's an hour and a half, 1 hour, 28 minutes. You don't have time. You've got to get some sleep. Maybe I'll just take a quick peek. And 20 minutes, dove in about 20 minutes into it. I didn't realize, I've never seen the original Let It Be from 1970. I watched Peter Jackson's 8-hour opus on it.
Right.
And I thought that I would just see, a condensed version of that. A lot of the same clips, just all edited together. That's not what I saw at all. First of all, the first 20 minutes, really dives into the Abbey Road songs. It's all Abbey Road songs. Yeah. There's a little, a couple of tunes. The Two of Us and what is it? The One After 909. I can never remember that.
One After 909.
They talk about that a little bit, but this is completely different. I have not seen any of this footage in the Peter Jackson stuff. Starts off with a wonderful intro with Peter Jackson and Lindsay Michael Hogg talking about it. Just recently. Talking about it, opening up the movie. It's a whole new thing. I quickly stopped it and realized that I'm going to have to really get into it when I have a little more time. Say today. I had every intention of watching the whole thing, and my day got away from me in a good way. Had a lot of things pop up, and I had to deal with a lot of things. It was all fine, but now for the second day in a row, I'm telling myself, okay, I'm going to watch this bad boy. I'm gonna get done what needs to be done early, and then I will sit there and stare at the TV and let it wash over me. Yeah, as we saw in the Peter Jackson Get Back. How Paul McCartney hammered out Get Back just sitting there on his bass one day. Yep. You start to see some of that happening with the Abbey Road songs in the Let It Be documentary. So, yeah, it's good stuff. It's worth a watch.
I've got a crazy story that I just came across from South Hadley, Massachusetts. This is western Massachusetts, fairly rural up in the mountains. There was a car crash Sunday. A driver saw a car go off the road. He called police and said, hey, there's a car off the road. I think someone just crashed.
All right.
Police showed up. They found a 2016 Honda Civic, very heavily damaged, out in the trees. First responders reached the scene, and sadly, there was the male occupant of the vehicle. Only person in the car was deceased. He was laying outside the car.
Okay.
And they were like, let's see. This is tragedy. This is a young man who crashed his car. They don't know what happened, but he hit the guardrail multiple times, went off the right side of the road, and he's now outside of his car. And then the first responders noticed over to the side that they noticed some injuries on him. He looked like he had been kind of shredded up a little bit.
Ooh.
And then they saw the bear who had pulled him from the wreckage.
Oh, my God.
An opportunist.
It's one thing to crash your car.
Oh.
And then it's another for before anybody can get there. So
I hope he was dead.
They hope so, too.
Oh, man.
They're not quite sure. Imagine
kidding?
rolling your car, and then you're like, you hear someone approaching.
I'm in trauma.
Is it the jaws of life? No, it's the jaws of death. It's a bear.
Like, I'm okay.
A bear pulled him out of his vehicle.
Oh, that's horrible.
Let's just hope that poor SOB was dead because, and then a little mauling on top of it. Oh, where was this at?
It's in western Massachusetts.
Okay, a black bear.
It
wasn't a grizz.
Yeah, it's a black bear. But
looking for an easy meal, I
guess so.
Yeah, right. When...
Police, the evidence, the quote is either fully ejected or partially ejected, later dragged from the car by the bear.
Okay. You know your time is up when that happens.
Yeah, no, it was your day. Oh, he's not dead from the car accident?
Final destination.
Bring in the bear. Yeah, we're going to get this son of a bitch one way or the other. Bring in the bear.
I mean, and you just know that bear was like, oh, thank you, God.
Exactly.
That's just like, talk about just falling literally into your lap.
Right. I'm reminding of one time there was a pizza accidentally delivered to my door. The guy's like, oh, I'm not supposed to be here. He goes, well, just take it. I've got to go get another pizza now. I was like, oh, do you want some money? I'll give you a tip for running over here. He goes, no, that's cool. Kind of the same deal.
Kind of the same thing. There it is.
Thank you, God.
That's it. Yeah, that's a rough one all around. Yeah, like you said, your time's up. I mean, that's just the universe was just like you had a good run.
One way or another, we're going to get you today. Yeah,
that's just how that's going to go.
The odds.
On another here. Okay, so from one bizarre story to another, a 27-year-old gentleman in California is facing charges because he has threatened a surgeon, not just any surgeon, but a surgeon who performed surgery on this gentleman. He had a situation called ulcerative colitis. It's a painful condition. It affects the bowels. And in 2020, this gentleman, who's 27 years old, Robert McDougall, had major surgery for this condition. It involved removing his colon. And then he has since been suffering with all sorts of symptoms and not really feeling healthy. And he decided to go online to start threatening his surgeon. And in fact, he's been doing it online for the past few years. The surgeon's finally had enough. The FBI's involved. This man is very troubled. And oh my gosh. Stalking charges 3 years before his surgery. This is a guy who was kicked out of college after assaulting a professor that had given him a B on a test.
Assaulting? I would have tipped him. I would have said, "Here, buddy, I'm taking you out for dinner. Thanks for the B."
Yeah, no kidding. He slashed campus security vehicles' tires.
Oh, okay.
He carved swastikas into the hoods of the campus security vehicles.
Yeah,
so anyway, all this to say, I guess thankfully or sadly or regrettably, he does post threats online, and they sound like this.
Jared, do you think that there's a moment that goes by where I don't think about your face and hurting you and hurting you? Jared is the one. You, Jared, are the one. This was the course of my life. The course of my life, the course of my treatment for my ulcerative colitis. I was about to try Stellaire and Xeljanz together, and he just destroys, shatters the life that I had.
Oh, that's Hollywood crazy. That's calling. Yeah, I mean, if I'm like, okay, no, I need something more psycho. Can you go deeper for me? Like a higher register in your voice. I need super psycho action.
Jared, do you think that there's a moment that goes by where I don't think about your face and hurting you and hurting you? Jared is the one. You, Jared, are the one. This was the course of my life. The course of my life, the course of my treatment for my ulcerative colitis. I was about to try Stellaire and Xeljanz together, and he just destroys, shatters the life that I had.
Yeah, that sounds like a bad breakup I've been through. He needs a hospital, that's for sure.
He does need some help. And as I said, I guess the actual word is thankfully he decided to share all these threats online, so he was immediately apprehended.
I'll tell you what, if they cut him loose and I'm Jared, his doctor, you remember Jared, don't you?
Jared, do you think that there's a moment?
That's Jared.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing that, and I'm the doctor, Jared, and we did what we could. We had to cut him loose, but we got him on some medication. I'm hiring a hitman.
Yeah.
Because that guy's going to kill me.
Yeah, that's pretty much true.
Yeah, he's not quitting until someone's dead.
Jared, do you think that there's a moment that goes by where I don't think about your face and hurting you and hurting you? Jared.
Oh, Jared.
Man.
That's a special kind of crazy right there.
That reminds me of when there was there was a video there was a reality show about people going into rehab, and a man on the show was shown crying really hard, and then somebody put it into an auto-tune. Do you remember that video?
Yes,
it was a viral
I do.
video that went. It was the guy crying, but it was put into auto-tune, and it just was the most bizarre thing. And I haven't thought of that in years. And that guy's voice, that just sounds like he needs to be auto-tuned up,
right,
and put into play right there. Yeah, boy, I feel for anybody who's gone through anything like that. But, boy, threatening, keep those threats to yourself. Write a postcard, send it anonymously, like old school. Do you remember when you were 37? Do you remember?
Sure.
For me, I turned 37 in 2002. So I can go right back to what was going on in our life then. You guys, you kind of get that vague notion.
I'm there. Yeah, I got it.
Absolutely. It's when I met my sweetie.
Oh, how'd you feel, generally speaking?
That was a very loose and fun and joyous time in my life.
Oh, isn't that nice? The average person reports 37 is the age when you start feeling aches and pains. Neck, leg, shoulders, things just start to hurt on a regular basis.
Yeah,
at
the first 37-year-old that bitches to me about achy joints.
Yeah.
I would hit them, but my joints are way too achy.
Yeah, right.
20 years after that.
I thought the same. I was like,
37. We were lions at 37.
Yes.
I had my second kid was born when I was 37, so I can remember
you
that.
look great, not a stretch mark on you.
And thank you, I appreciate that. It was literally. I can't say it was effortless, but pretty close. Effortless delivery. I was sipping coffee, actually. But I thought about that. I'm like, man, when I was 37, I was I didn't have time to notice if anything was hurting. I mean, maybe they were.
If it was hurting, it was because, I took a tough slide in D-League softball in the third or something like that. But
Or hungover.
Wow, back starts barking, the knees start to buckle, aches and pains at 37. That just seems really I mean,
That's
maybe
too bad.
Maybe you're for an offensive lineman.
You know how you look
good
back
point.
and you just remember the good times, but maybe that's the case. But I don't know. I would have said, okay, maybe 47.
Sure.
40s. I definitely equate to 40s. I do know this. As the youngest of a big family, I've had a really consistent, I can look at my older brothers and go, when did this start to happen to you? Like, when did your eyes start to go? When did you notice this? And we've all had those conversations.
I remember it to the moment and my age, especially with my eyes, the little iPods that came out. And they had the little iPod Nano, that tiny little, like the size of a stick of Wrigley's gum. And I had one of those bad boys, and I was going to register it online, and I needed the serial number off the back. And I turned it over, and I'm like, why would they write numbers so small? Why would they print them so small on something that that a human being can't possibly read those? I was 40 years old. My daughter takes it out of my hand and she goes, 7B57, Dad, you need glasses. And I went, what? You can read that? Son of a...
Yeah.
And thus it began.
I got readers in my late 30s. I definitely noticed a little difference, but it wasn't major, but it was just enough.
Yeah, just enough.
I was like, yeah, I'm getting that. But the distance vision stuff, it was late 40s, and I would be anytime I drove for more than like an hour, if it was dark, I just felt exhausted. Like I had no stamina to drive, and I was. Like I'm driving. I go visit my mom. This is when we lived in Nashville. I go visit my mom up in Kentucky. I drive home. It's 70 miles, and I'd get back. It'd be dark, and I'd be like, "Man, drive just wore me out." And Rosemary's like, "Oh, you're probably losing your vision. Like you're working overtime because or like things get blurry." And I'm like, "No, I can see fine. What are you talking about?" Because it was just so subtle, but I didn't recognize that, road signs I used to be able to see a mile away. I'm like, I think this is the sign I'm looking for. And then, first time I put on someone's glasses in a car at night, and all of a sudden everything just came right into focus. And I was like, oh my
Son of a
sign says cattle crossing.
How in the world? How in the world did I not notice? I can't see.
Yeah.
Oh, that was not cool.
Yeah, just one day, all of a sudden, and there it is. But yeah, 37, that's too young.
That's too young.
That's too young. You just wait, you 37-year-old. You just wait.
I heard an interview with someone the other day, and they were bemoaning the fact that at 39 years old, man, and I mean, it's been a while since 40. When we were kids, 40 was that number rang out to like our parents, our aunts and uncles. Lordy, lordy, someone's turning 40. You see those signs. Lordy, lordy, Mickey's 40.
Right.
And that is so far gone now. But I heard someone just the other day saying like, yeah, I'm feeling it. I'm every bit of 39, and I don't know. It's put a lot on my plate. I'm like, man, get over it. I'm turning 59 in a couple months. I still feel like I'm an idiot kid.
Yeah, right.
Okay, my knees don't feel the same. But I don't feel like an old man.
Same. It's all attitude.
If we had a party talking about our tallywhackers.
Yeah.
So,
what were you saying, Tony?
If we throw a party like in a garage or something with a keg and we didn't want to be bothered by the cops, we'd put up signs outside that said, Lordy, Lordy, Herb is 40. And they'd leave us alone.
Well, Mick Jagger started it, didn't he? He said, I don't want to be 40 years. I don't see myself at 40 up on stage prancing around. And you're like a 40. That's the mark where you got to grow up. You can't. I remember one of my favorite DJs in Chicago in the 1970s was Larry Lujack, and he thought, And he was like in his late 30s. He goes, well, I can't keep playing rock music. I'm in my 30s, for God's sakes.
I sent a picture to you guys. We were talking the other day, and I mentioned that there's a photo of my dad with Willie Mays that I never knew existed till I was an adult. I was like, what the hell is that? And I sent it to you guys the other day. He's like 41 in that photo.
Right.
And he looks, 41 in the 70s was like, you're old, man.
Yeah, well, they had like Brill cream and sideburns. And it just looked.
No, he had probably working a little Grecian formula already.
Sure.
And then, but always the jacket and tie. I mean, my old man, he took the wingtips off at bedtime.
He didn't come in Mr. Rogers with some slippers?
No, he'd take the jacket out, he'd roll the sleeves up, he'd take the tie off, but the shoes were on.
Oh, no, my dad went into the moccasin slippers. When he'd come in after we pulled his boots off, you'd have to pull his boots off. He'd get in the recliner, pull the boots off, kids, and into the moccasin slippers he'd go.
651-989-ROCK is the KQ Talking text line, and as Zep just alluded to, if you're just joining us, we did spend a good part of the morning already discussing genitalia, nicknames that we give our own front offices. On the text line, I just read this one. An ex-girlfriend and I used to call our equipment Cheech and Dong.
That's cute.
That is nice.
It's pretty good.
That works. That's adorable.
Yeah. Foxtrot uniform Charlie. Oh, no. Okay, hang on.
Wrinkle pump.
Oh.
Wang dang doodle. I've heard that one before.
The guy just set one very simply. It just says Buford.
Buford.
I like that.
Oh, this one you talk about, passing your prime here. The old man in the boat. That sounds sad.
This text just came in. You guys talking about turning 40? Kiss my ass. I'm 65. Right on, brother.
Yeah, right.
That's what I'm saying.
It's still as prickly as ever.
Yeah, still doing the job. That's fine. A lot of these names, boy. I mean, it's funny because you've heard a lot of these, and then I'm still amazed at this age, at my advanced age of 58, that you're still coming across nicknames that I've never heard before.
Yeah.
But there are, just simple ones like joystick. By the way, how about this? Okay, I played basketball my whole life, was always a fan of basketball. Mm-hmm. But when Michigan State blew up in the late 70s, Magic Johnson became like my favorite ball player of all time. I worship, and I grew up a Michigan fan, but for 2 years I was like, screw it, I'm cheering for Michigan State because I love Magic Johnson so much. I was so captivated by him. And then he goes to the Lakers, and I was already a Lakers fan, so the 80s for me, that was my guy. I met him once. He was the only time I think I've ever truly been speechless. Well, there's 2 times I had struggled to speak to someone. Magic Johnson and George Martin, the Beatles producer. I met him once, and I literally just couldn't. I just shook his hand. I said, it's great to meet you. And then I walked away, and I started crying. I was just like, I met George Martin. Amazing. And same with Magic Johnson. I was 40 at least the first time it dawned on me, the greatest porn name ever, Magic Johnson.
Absolutely.
How did we not know that? I never heard anyone reference. You never heard people say it, and suddenly I was like, wait a minute, that's Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
How did we not know?
It's perfect.
Well, after the AIDS thing, I remember that job. I was just getting into radio, and we were in, that one was circa. Then people started to get it then, because, he had a very
I missed it. So,
love life.
Right. Even with all that, I'm like, how did I miss this? I mean, it's just sitting right there on the table.
You were thinking about basketball.
The Johnson's right there on the table.
That's see, thank you. You're picking up what I'm laying down. No, that was it. That was me. I was just I'm more thinking about those half court bounce passes and missing what's right there in front of me.
All right. Well, speaking of picking up what we're putting down right now on the KQ92 Talking text line, pick up your phone. Callers 9 and 2 651-989 Rock. We're playing People Are Strange for a chance to win tickets to the Outlaw Music Festival. Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, John Mellencamp, and more. September 6th at Somerset Amphitheater. Thank you to Live Nation for those tickets. Our runner-up today gets the kickoff to summer at Fair, May 23rd at the Minnesota State Fairgrounds. Prize provided by the Minnesota State Fair. People Are Strange. We'll explain. You make the call. 651-989-ROCK. Dial up. Good luck and hang tight.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Thursday, May the 9th. I'll just come clean. I'm in a bad mood. I've been in a bad mood for hours and hours and hours. I got a really disturbing phone call. I was sound asleep early. Before midnight, I got robocalled. First of several calls came through my phone because I forgot to put the Do Not Disturb on. From the city of Nashville, Tennessee, alerting me to bad weather.
This is a high priority alert from Metro Nashville government.
A National Weather Service alert from the Metro Emergency Alert and Notification.
I've been in Minnesota since last January. I've never, ever received a call or a text from Nashville weather, whatever. I don't know how that happened, who signed me up for it, or if it's just because I still have a 615 area code.
Yeah,
I was like,
for your own good, man.
I guess so. Yeah, Minnesota people. I'm north. I'm up north.
Check on any friends or family that might be in the area?
I don't care. I was trying to sleep. They're if I got it, they got it. You know what I mean?
Right.
My God. Spring in the South is no picnic. Trust me.
Listen,
bad weather abounds.
Our phones are so smart. They should know that you're out of the area. This guy's not in the 615, but yeah. Right.
You would think. I said this earlier in 2000, early in the smartphone era. So 2008 or 9, on the road, on the tour bus, everyone's sound asleep. And everybody's phone at the exact same moment, an Amber Alert went off for whatever it was.
Oh, those things.
And this is before you knew those even existed, so you hadn't opted out. You hadn't gone to your settings and said, turn off Amber Alert.
Yeah.
And so on a bus, everyone's asleep in their bunks, and at the exact same moment, everyone's phones go...
Oh, my God.
So what you have is 8 people waking up all thinking we've gone off a cliff. Like the first thought is the bus is crashing. This is tragic. It was, traumatizing. Everybody's like, what's going on? And we all look at our phones and we're like, a 4-year-old kid's missing. What are you talking about?
Have you guys seen a 4-year-old kid
we're all
on the
like,
bus
did someone, and literally we're trying to wake up and everyone's like, what does this have to do with us? We thought it was targeted to the bus, Like,
the Black Crows make off with a 4-year-old child in their tour bus.
What the hell's happening?
Well, those things are. They picked an alarm there that I was driving down the road when one of those things went off last summer, and I just about jerked the wheel into the median.
Yeah, it'll get your attention, to be sure. Hey, here's something that's pretty cool. September 6th at Somerset Amphitheater, the Outlaw Music Festival. Willie, Bob, and John. Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, and John Mellencamp. Holy smokes. Mm-hmm. We've got tickets for the show. We would love to give them to a listener. We also have tickets for today's runner-up, Kickoff to Summer at Fair, May 23rd at the Minnesota State Fairgrounds. That's also kind of cool. So we're gonna play a game. We're gonna put 2 contestants through the ringer, and we'll see who wins these tickets. Tony, what are we doing today?
We're going to get a tad bizarre.
Yes.
People are strange, and that includes all of us. So what we did is we each come up with 2 things, real or fake, about ourselves that seem strange, weird, out of the ordinary, our strange behavior. Then you fine listeners will guess if our quirks are genuine or made up. And win prizes galore.
I like it. All right, let's
go around the horn.
Do it. Ryder, who is contestant number 1?
Contestant number 1 is Dan from St. Paul. Hey, Dan.
Hello.
Good morning, Dan. Are you ready to play People Are Strange?
Good morning. Yes, I am.
Do you consider yourself to have any strange quirks?
Yeah, people I work with, they're strange.
Okay. All right.
It off.
I like that. Just project right on there. Let's do this. All right. So, Tony, I'm going to give you the con, as they say in submarine movies.
All right, sir. When I'm getting dressed and putting on my pants, I have to put my left leg in my pants first, or I'll fall or lose balance or something. I get completely out of balance if I don't do it that way. It doesn't feel right. Is that true or not?
It is.
You are correct. I'm a weirdo.
Dan, 1 for 1.
I put them both on at the same time.
Nice.
Just leap right in. If I only could.
I do it, but I'm inverted. I do a shoulder stand, and then I throw the pants up in the air, and they have to land.
Steve just does a somersault and then stands up, and his pants are on somehow.
Cirque du Soleil.
Yeah, that's it. All right, who's up next?
All right, I'll take it. Here we go, Dan. I used to. I don't do this anymore. I don't run around much anymore. But I used to love to run backwards. I used to run backwards for like the first half. If I was jogging a mile, I'd go a half mile backwards and then just stop and run back forward.
I'd say true.
Yeah, I was a defensive back in college, and they have you run backwards all the time.
Yeah,
Half your
perfect.
practice is running backwards, and I just kind of started to like it. I'm like, I like running backwards. I saw a guy running backwards down like West River Parkway the other day.
I've seen that too.
And I thought, what a weirdo.
Yeah, right. Of
Knock
course.
it off. You're freaking people out. But I used to do it, yeah.
Right on. Dan, you're 2 for 2. Let's go. Ryder, are you joining us for the competition?
I'll join for
Yay.
this one.
All
yes. Tony's request, he said to tell you that I keep a lizard in my purse, which seems like a good euphemism for somebody's private parts.
Oh, wow. Sure does.
But no, here's the deal. So my dad used to work at Cullis Tavern. It was over on Riverside, like back in the 80s. And he got into some kind of bar bet with this dude, like something about Met Stadium and Vikings and blah, blah, blah. He lost, and legally, Trouble is my middle name.
Ooh.
Dan,
I gotta go false.
that is false. Nice work, Dan.
Wow.
Dang.
That was a good one.
I thought I just learned something about Ryder I didn't know.
Yeah, we
Don't
literally-
think we're ever
we all-
calling you Ryder again.
Well done, because we all looked at each other like, whoa,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. That checks out.
Dan, you're 3 for 3, brother. All right, here we go. Dan, when I shave, which is not that often, twice a week tops, I use both hands. I shave the right side of my face with the razors in my right hand, and when I shave the left side of my face, I put the razor in my left hand. I simply cannot do it any other way.
Oh, funny.
I gotta go false.
Dang, gun, you're right. That is false.
Oh,
Wow.
Dan, 4 for 4.
I believed that one.
yeah. I
Yeah,
was looking at I was looking at the left side of his face for scars.
I do have a mark. I do have one on the left side of my face. I was proud of that one. I thought I'd get you. Dan, well played, sir. We could not fool ye. You went 4 for 4. So sit tight. We're going to put you on hold for a minute. We're going to see what your competition's got up their sleeve. Ryder, who is contestant number 2?
Hey, Kathy from Northfield.
Kathy, good morning.
Morning.
Well, how's your day so far?
Well, I've been up since, 6:30. It's going fine so far, I guess.
Beautiful. Haven't had time to mess it up yet. Are you hoping to win tickets to see Willie Bob and John Mellencamp?
Most definitely.
Yeah,
Up
most
for the
definitely.
challenge.
Excellent. So best of luck to you, Tony. Take it away. You go first.
All right, dear. I used to have a kind of like a tick. I used to have to make a solid clap sound, clap my hands, a good solid sound before leaving a room, and I couldn't leave until I got the in good.
Oh, geez. I'm gonna say true.
Yeah, I'm a cuckoo bird.
I thought you were just trying to turn off the lights. I'm like, we don't have a clapper.
My
here,
clapper.
I never had that issue where I had to before leaving a room, but if I clap, I can't get I have to get a good clap.
Got to get a good one in
for
there.
whatever reason I clap, if it's like that, I then got to find the sweet spot.
Uh-huh. And then someone will go, thank you.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. All right, Kathy, 1 for 1. Very well done. Zep, take it away.
Here's what I got for you, Kathy. When a stranger asks me a question, I always answer in Pig Latin.
I'm going to say no.
No, I don't do it. I'm not that weird.
That's funny.
Ethe athrum bay is a athaway.
We wanted it to be true. Yeah, that's a pretty good one. All right, Kathy, you're 2 for 2. Ryder, what do you got?
Hey, Kathy. So I've worked at several radio stations, and the call letters, the 4 letters that we talk about, like KQRS here, I have them all tattooed on my upper thigh. It's about 15 tattoos.
15?
Yeah, like just the letters, like 15 different stations.
Oh, gotcha. 15 stations.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Or 8, 12. Nope, there shouldn't. No, I'm going to say no. No.
That is correct. That is false.
Very well
Because there
done,
should be
Kathy.
an even number, right? Not an odd number.
All right, she's got a line through each one except for KQRS.
All right, Kathy, you're 3 for 3. This is going to put you into a tiebreaker if you get it right. I'm sorry to retread over similar territory, but like Tony, I was thinking about how I get dressed in the morning. I put my right sock on and then my right shoe. then I put on my left sock, and then my left shoe. I've done that since I was a kid. That's how I get my shoes and socks on every time. Sock, shoe, and then sock, shoe.
Are your pants on yet?
The pants are already on. Yes, they are. Pants first.
Oh, okay.
Pants first, but I can't do the sock, shoe. I got to get the right foot covered and then the left foot covered.
Wow. I'm going to say true because that's kind of how I think I would do it too. Because I put foot cream on and I don't want to be walking around with foot cream on one foot. And yeah, I would say true.
Kathy, I'm sorry to say it is not true. I do socks and then I do shoes. I had a roommate who would put a sock on and a shoe, and then he would do one foot and then the other all the way through, and it really upset me. I was like, no, you can't, because then he's walking around with a shoe on one foot and barefoot on the other, and I was
hopping
like, that's
around.
Yeah, how I couldn't.
Why are you getting up when you put one shoe in one? Just to do the whole thing at one.
It was a wild one.
Yeah,
that was a freak. Kathy, 3 for 4 is a very, very more days than not. That's enough for a win or at least a tie. But you ran up against a juggernaut in Dan today. So as a runner-up prize, we're going to give you tickets to the kickoff to summer at the fair, May 23rd at the Minnesota State Fairgrounds. Dano, you are the big winner today, brother. Congrats! 2 tickets to see Willie Nelson, Bob Dylan, and John Mellencamp. Between the 3 of them, they've written a couple of good songs.
Yeah.
That's going to be an awesome night. Congrats, brother.
Thank you.
You got it. Thanks for playing. Whew. How about that?
Learn a little something about your coworkers.
Bizarre group.
Yeah, no kidding. I was just thinking about you. I do sometimes go back and forth with the shoe sock thing. It's weird that I still think about it. I don't have a routine. I'm like, I'll put on both my socks. No, I'm just going to put what's closer, the sock and the shoe. I don't know. It's weird. Yeah.
That is a little weird. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, it is. I mix it up. I like to surprise myself.
So as I mentioned, I was struggling last night to get back to sleep after being awakened, and I've mentioned this on the show before. When I'm traveling, if I get on a plane, there's a couple playlists in my phone. I can put on music. There's one artist in particular, a singer named Lisa Hannigan, and I love her records. But if I put the headphones on and put her music on when I sit on a plane, I'm immediately asleep. It just knocks me out.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
And as I've done several times in the past, I tried it again last night. I'm laying in bed at home. I can't get back to sleep. I put the music on. It doesn't work. It doesn't work if I'm in a bed.
Damn it.
Yeah. And so I was just, and I know it's not going to work, but I still tried. I think one of these days it'll happen.
Yeah.
But now, according to neuroscientists in the United Kingdom, they have done a study. There is one song they have found that helps people relax more than any other. Listening to this song has led to great reductions in stress among study participants, reduced blood pressure, heart rate, and cortisone levels, and helped people drift off to a nice, peaceful slumber.
I'm going to say Motorhead Ace of Spades.
It is not Motorhead Ace of Spades, but that's a heck of a choice. It's an English ambient music band called Marconi Union. The song is Weightless. If you want to call that a song, it's just sound and noise. They had Enya songs, Adele songs, Coldplay songs by Mozart, and many other artists. But this is the one, Weightless by Marconi Union. And I kid you not, I can't. I'm just hearing it now. I'm like,
we're losing.
Don't play it too long.
True Motorhead.
I'm telling you, my eyes are getting heavy, man.
Yeah, that's. I get it. It's spacey.
Mm-hmm. Pretty spacey. That'll knock you right out, apparently.
I mean, does it? I'm going to jump in here a little. No, that's pretty much it, man.
It's contemplative.
When I hear music like that for more than I hear that voice and the music, and then what I hear next is, okay, why don't you turn over onto your back now, Steve? Because there's candles lit, and I'm in a massage. Studio.
You're gonna feel some slight pressure
with Robert Kraft.
I almost said massage parlor, and I was like, I've never been in a massage parlor in my life. I've been in some spas. I've had a massage at a hotel before. I've never been in a parlor.
We're going to apply the hot cups now, Steve. You might feel some slight pressure and a burning sensation.
I did. I had a hot stone massage one time, and there's hot stone, and then there was they left it way too hot, and it did. It left a mark. The guy like right here. I was like, that's really really hot. He's like, oh, I'm sorry, you're right. It was hot. Yeah, like, dude, come on, check the temp on that thing.
Relaxing massages that aren't. I got a deep tissue massage one time, and I couldn't walk for like 3 days. It was, and she kept saying, now, if you feel uncomfortable at any point, say something. And about 4 times I went, that really, ouch, okay, that's hurting.
Yeah.
And she'd be like, oh, you. I'm like, no, you.
Oh, you.
What's our safe word? I forgot what it was. But she was.
A scream.
She hated men. She hated me. I don't know what it was. That was terrible.
I had a massage that right out a scene from a movie. No exaggeration. I was in Los Angeles at a hotel for making a record. I was out there for a couple months, and I was feeling very stressed and wound up. And Rosemary's like, just get a massage. They got a guy in the hotel. Let's come to the room.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I should. I'm going to pop for a massage in a room. I need this. I opened the door, and a gentleman was standing there who, I'm 6'3". He had at least 3 inches on me.
Oh.
He had a tank on him that looked like a beer keg. Huge man.
Come here, Steve.
And he literally went, yo, for a massage. And I go, yeah. And the story that I got from him in his broken English was he had been the team masseuse for the Red Army wrestling team.
Well.
And then also the Red Army hockey team.
Okay.
As in the Soviet... The Lake Placid.
Yeah. I mean, this is
this is 1993,
masseur.
and he in 1980 was just worked for the Soviet Union, Olympic team. He was just a team masseuse for whoever, and he transferred around and worked with different groups of athletes at different competitions. And he had been with the hockey team at the Lake Placid Olympics.
/security?
Now, I didn't Google him at the time. It was 1993, but I had no reason to not believe him. His hands were... I kept picturing, there's that famous photo. When he put his hands on my back when I was laying down, I immediately pictured that photo of the beer can and Andre the Giant's hand. And I was like, this guy is laying ham hocks on my body and claiming they're his hands.
He just massaged you with one hand.
And it wasn't a technical deep tissue massage, but it was a deep tissue massage.
Yeah.
I mean, he just couldn't help it. But during this massage, this man's stomach was grumbling. It sounded like a lawnmower.
Can I get you a snack?
And the height of the table, like when he's like digging in, his trunk, his belly is like ear level. And it's literally, I'm like, have you not eaten this week? His stomach was making more noise than anything I'd ever heard.
That's hard to relax.
And it wasn't you say, oh, his stomach was growling. This man's stomach was howling. and I kid you not, if there was a way to measure my stress and anxiety before and after, it was so far elevated. But my blood pressure skyrocketed during the massage. It was the most stressful 60 minutes of my life. And then he's like, okay, I'll see you later. I'm like, thanks, man. That was great. And I was like, oh, my God, I need a massage.
I need a massage.
Terrible. Absolutely terrible.
Oh, yeah. Generally, massages, that's the one thing I always want to do more of. I'm going to get a massage. We're going to do some massages. I never get a massage. Maybe I should join one of those clubs, get one of those memberships.
Yeah. I used to get them on the road all the time because, drumming every day, I'd go in and I'd say just neck, shoulders, and arms. That's all I need. I don't need lower back. I don't need my feet or anything because it was just those things get beat up. But now it's like it's like I used to golf on tour all the time because it was easy, and I got to remind myself now. Oh wait, I like golf. I can do it. To me, it's always something I used to do on the road. But the first massage I ever had was wiped me out. I'd never had one. I was in my late 20s, and the guy said, you break up all the toxins in your system, and it'll come into your blood flow. And I was living a very toxin-rich life at the time. Mm-hmm. And I was nauseous for 12 solid hours after a 90-minute massage.
Did you weep?
I did. No, I didn't weep, but I threw up a couple times. I mean, I was literally sick as a dog from getting a massage.
I suppose that's good for you?
He said it would happen. Yeah. It was good. And maybe he just hypnopatized me and made it happen.
Yeah, maybe.
But,
roofied you.
Hey, I don't know if you saw this, but apparently Tom Cruise is going to do Top Gun 3. Will be happening, and if it's going to reflect anything to do with the real world, he won't be in it. I'll explain in just a few minutes. Hang tight.
92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Thursday, May the 9th. If you're just joining us, we've been spending a lot of time naming our private parts, a lot of front office euphemisms and nicknames today. If you got one you want to share with us, you are more than welcome to talk or text 651-989-ROCK. The KQRS Facebook page has a post up as well. No shortage of comments, no shortage of input from the listeners. We've all got names for our front office. I like to call myself the Top Gun.
Top Gun.
Actually, I don't. But Top Gun, let's see, 84, 85, 1986, the original Top Gun came
86,
out.
Right.
I was a kid, I was 21 in 1986. I saw Top Gun in the theater. I gave a quick minute or two thought to, maybe I could be a Navy fighter pilot too one day. And then I got more popcorn and never thought about it. But, we all thought for a minute, maybe.
I just went out and bought one of those aviator jackets from a thrift store, like a D-bag, and got the aviator glasses and feathered my hair. Oh, yeah.
Felt pretty good about it. I thought, I could see it. I could see myself doing this. I'm the last guy on the planet they would ever let fly a plane, especially a fighter plane, like a jet like that.
Fly it like you stole it.
Did you ever try to do their windmill high five thing that they did when they're playing a beach volleyball? No one can do that. It's awkward.
For speed. No, in fact, my brother and I just kept trying it over and over again. He poked me in the eye once.
Right,
I slapped him on the ass once by accident.
It's not.
It's awkward.
It's not something that mere mortals like ourselves could ever make sense of. And then 40 years later, almost 35 years later or something, we get the sequel a couple years ago. Maverick comes out. It's huge. And now, just a couple years later, wait, when was Maverick out? Was it just last year or 2 years ago?
It was right after the pandemic.
22 or 23?
I think it was 22.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, I wasn't in Minnesota yet. So, but now apparently Top Gun 3. The word on the street is they've been greenlit for Top Gun 3. Tom Cruise, I imagine, now that he's in his 60s, still going to be the Maverick guy. But check this out: if they're going to make this movie at all realistic, which is to say, unlike the first two, apparently they don't need Tom Cruise anymore because Edwards Air Force Base in California, they're flying around F-16s now with AI, pilotless airplanes.
Well, our robot overlords are going to need jets, right, to take us over. Let's make them jets now. What else can we do to pave the way for the end of humanity?
Performing maneuvers at over 550 miles per hour. The AI system is still in the early developmental stages, but apparently in the dogfight drills they're running, the computer AI flown planes are outmaneuvering and outperforming the piloted Top Gun dude in the cockpit planes.
Sure, makes sense.
Great.
It does kind of make sense. This makes more sense to me than cars, than the whole idea of all street traffic being driverless.
Yeah.
When we get, because you're going to have, that's going to be problematic because you're going to still have people driving and they're not going to get on the robot system, and the autonomous cars are going to be messed up by human error.
Yeah, obstacles.
I fantasize about all you dimwits driving around your autonomous cars while I'm going like 80, weaving in and out, and
But everyone says, well, the autonomous cars will all be interacting on the same processor, and so they'll never be accidents. But so they say it'll be the humans that mess it up. But if all the fighter planes are all AI and automaton, dark sky, dark net overlords, like you said, then it's probably going to be a little better for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, couldn't we just have a robot war and settle it? Would that be good enough? Kind of like that Discovery show when they had the robot wars. You'd have to build your own robot, and Japan kicked everyone's ass always. But something like that. Let's just have robot wars. We'll send our AI up, you send yours. But if you lose, we get half your stuff. I don't know what the end game here is, but it sounds like a more humane form of war. But I mean,
less vomit, less blood flow to the brain.
No, we need those sky jockeys. Where are we going to get our airline? Well, the airlines will be AI then, won't they?
Yes.
I don't know. We need the Mavericks up there. We need the handlebar mustaches. We need the Chuck Yeagers, and I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
You had me at handlebar mustache, I can tell you that.
That's what I'm thinking, the old Vietnam fighter pilots with the handlebar mustache.
Break into the barbershop quartet while they're flying.
Yeah, what about all that witty banter, then Baba Black Sheep that would go back and forth? Come on.
I've got a letter from Sally. She's waiting for me at home. Sally is my gal in the pally. Yeah, we just go on and on and on.
I think you went all the way back to the biplanes.
Yeah. I kind of did. Yeah, I went right past barbershop and straight to Sop with Camels.
Sop with Camels.
Over there.
They would just like fly over during World War I, and they would just drop bombs with their hands. They just hold like a grenade out and just drop it.
Plunk.
Oh, you missed by a mile.
I still think. I mean, I'm definitely a man of my time. I mean, I it's good that I'm alive now because I just couldn't have handled life in the early 20th century or the 19th century. I still think about things like when I go over a bridge, I'm like, how do they make? How does this work?
Oh God, yeah.
How does this bridge?
Abracadabra.
Yeah. How do you dig a hole in a river that's already full of water? I mean, I can see the documentaries and I can look it up and I can see, but it just blows my mind anybody came up with that.
If I was at the apex, we would have never made it out of the caves. I'd been like, yeah, fine. Right. The cave is
exactly.
fine.
Right. But when I think back to we're talking about World War I planes, the Sop with Camels, the idea that somebody came up with a way for that machine gun to fire and not hit its own propeller.
That still blows my mind.
I don't know how anybody made that happen.
Still, to this day, can't mechanically compute in my head.
Yep. I've read about it dozen times. So, I gotta get this in my head once and for all. It never works.
No.
You're right. If I'd been around, okay, I'm the guy. I have gone very, very loudly and passionately with a few things over the years that I look back on and go, I'm the dumbest guy in the world. I always assume we've got it great right now. Let's just stop.
Yeah.
When I first heard of a thing called Netflix, they send DVDs in the mail. I was like, who wants that? I love going to the video store. Who doesn't want to go to Blockbuster?
Yeah,
you walk up and down the aisles, you see people you talk about movies. Why would we get rid of this? This will never work. I was like,
it's perfect.
Yeah. And the exact same thing when somebody told me about a thing called Amazon.com. Who doesn't want to go to the bookstore?
Yeah.
Because it was just books at first. And I was like, I love going to bookstores.
Yeah.
This will never work.
I had Amazon deliver a jar of mayonnaise the other day because they said they could get it there between 4 and 8 p.m. And I'm like, well, it's 3 o'clock. Why would I go down to Lund's when they're just going to bring it over a little bit later on? I just want it tomorrow for my sandwich. And, they dropped it out. I felt so I'm like, how much carbon did I just produce having Amazon swing by with a bottle of mayonnaise?
I grew up. I was born in 1965, but like most of kids of my generation, I grew up with a deep fascination about World War II. You just couldn't escape it.
Right.
When my kids and I played Army, we didn't play Vietnam. We didn't play Korea. We went right back to June 6, 1944. And in my mind, I can remember as a kid thinking like, man, it was just, that was the perfect machinery for war. We just, the B-17s were awesome.
Yeah. We had tanks.
We had tanks.
Of course, the Germans were much better tanks than ours. But
it was a good cause.
My grandfather was, my grandpa Sam was a tank commander. So, he would tell you what a piece of junk those were for a long time until they got a little bit better. But, you're right. Jeeps. We had the P-51 Mustang.
Yeah, exactly. Just great stuff.
And it took some skill and moxie to make that stuff work. They didn't, not like the M1 Abrams now. You get in that sucker and, you push a button and somebody 2 miles away just... they're gone. Yeah,
I've always been a guy who just thought, "What? We got it right here. We got everything we need right now. Just stop. Let's just stop this right now."
It's almost kind of sexy, wasn't it?
First time I got in a car and the window, you just hit a button and it went down. I was like, "What else are we ever going to come up with?"
Yeah,
I don't have to crank this window up and down. This is amazing. This is absolutely amazing. The yin and yang that is life, the good and the bad. Two stories out of the state of Massachusetts. Sometimes it's your day and sometimes it's not. Check this out. In Dorchester, Mass, or Dorchester. I can't do the Boston, Massachusetts accents, but boy, that grates on me. A woman, in February, a woman named Christine Wilson of Attenborough, Massachusetts, she won a 100 times cash $10 instant ticket game, a lottery game. She won it, and she claimed $1 million in February. $1 million.
Score.
Took the one-time payment.
Yep.
And so it says it's $1 million, but before taxes it's $650,000 because they talk about you blah 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 blah. She takes the payout and she's like, "This is great. I'm just going to put it all away. I've got a job and this is just going to help the future. I'm saving it." That was in February. The same woman won the same game.
Okay.
Last week.
I went to
10 weeks apart, 2 $1 million wins.
Good for you.
The same woman.
Yeah.
The sun is shining in just right up her 6.
Yeah, just lighten it up.
What in the world? And I've said many times, if you win the lottery, why do you buy another lottery ticket?
Well.
Because there's no way. But then again, it's like, because I guess some people just like, I think I can win this again.
That's part of their routine. That wasn't the first one. Someone probably has gone out and just, the first lottery ticket I ever bought. Look at that. I just won $1 million. But to win, you got to play, and I think these people play. It's just part of the history. Besides, now she's got some retirement money. Wouldn't you want some money to have fun with to get you to retirement? 2 $1 million winners. She's still playing out there.
Yeah, that's the thing. When I think about this, I would just hate to have my name out there. I would hate for people to know. Not only he won it twice. So you're just asking for a knuckle sandwich for no reason.
Yeah, you are.
Either that or some real bad luck coming your way. I'm like, that's too much luck. No, that's not how the universe works.
Well, I said there's 2 stories from Massachusetts. Maybe we have an explanation as to why this happened to a young man, a 31-year-old man from western Massachusetts in a town called South Hadley. He had the exact opposite. Not 2 lottery wins, but 2 very bad things happened in the same day. The first was driving on a road called Route 91. He lost control of his vehicle, apparently. So, driving by himself. Another driver came upon his, he called 911. Hey, a guy just went off the road. He crashed into some trees here. Paramedics show up. So this guy, 31 years old, lost control of his car and lost his life. A single car accident, and he was by the time the EMTs got there, he was dead. It wasn't just that. His body was outside the car. And it didn't show a lot. It had a lot of damage. There were some injuries that didn't look like the average car crash injuries.
Right.
That's because they weren't. That's because after he crashed his car, he was removed from the vehicle by a bear.
Unbelievable. Oh, I mean, there's just
a bear. Bad enough you roll your car a couple times. You're in your vehicle. It's either on its side or it's upside down, or maybe it ended up back up on its tires. But you're beat up pretty bad. You're very injured from a car crash, and then you don't hear the sirens on the way. You're not like, oh my God, help is on the way.
Yeah.
You don't hear somebody say, get out the jaws of life. We've got to free him. No, you just hear a bear comes up, pulls you out of your car, and if you're not already dead, kills you off for good.
You got to be kidding me.
Yeah, you're grateful for a minute. I'm okay.
Yeah, and what's a worse way to go than dying in trauma in a car accident? I'm going to just guess being mauled and torn to pieces by a bear, because found out, took a little bear training when I got to Montana right after I heard about my third person being mauled by a bear in like a 2-week period. I went, that's real out here. Okay. So I went down to REI, and they had a bear class. So I'm like, I'm taking
class.
Bear class. So I took the bear class, and bears aren't like mountain lions, aren't natural carnivores. They're, what is it? An omnivore?
Omnivore. They eat anything.
Yeah, they eat anything. They'll eat anything. So they don't naturally kill you. Like a mountain lion, that attacks you, boom, on your neck, just bleeds you out. You just go to sleep.
Right.
Looking into a kitty's eyes. Sure. That's not a bad way to go.
No.
A bear, that doesn't kill you. They just start eating you. That's why it's called mauled.
Yeah.
They just start beating first of all, they will either maul you just to beat you up to reduce the threat. They're not even trying to kill you. They just think they're fighting with another bear and breaking every bone in your body.
Those idiots.
Or they'll just start eating. Like they'll catch a wild pig and they'll just pick up the pig and start eating it.
See,
No manners.
I appreciate you saying that because every time I watch a bear documentary, I think to myself, they're just so stupid.
I know.
What are they doing? That you can't predict them. You can never predict what they're going to do. They're just like to your point, mountain lion. You know what a lion's going to do. If you find yourself in India and a tiger comes in the village, you know what that sucker's going to do.
Yes, sir.
Over.
Bears are so unpredictable, and they are so they're just
an oath.
Yeah, you got a whole set of different rules for different types of bears.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, well,
black
the grizzly
bear, get
the
big,
black bear.
bang your pots and pans together.
Yeah.
If it's a grizzly bear, just
play dead,
roll over and
kiss your
die.
ass goodbye.
Koala, you pet them.
Yeah, that's true.
Scratch their tummy.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of that Sam Kinison bit. Remember that old necrophilia bit? He's like, there you are, you die, you're laying on the table in there, and you're like, well, you know yourself, it's been a good life, you know. You're outside of body experience, and you're thinking to yourself, well, it's been a good life. It's over. You know, I'm finally at peace. You're going to meet my maker here. Wait, what's going on? Hey, what are you doing? Oh, you ever remember that? I can't play it. I'm looking at it right here, but I haven't had a chance to beep it yet. It's Sam Kinison. But that would be like being in the car accident going, all right, I'm in trauma. I hope I don't die.
Sure.
Obviously, there's probably first responders on the way. I'm still alive. It's okay. And a freaking bear drags you out of the car and just chews you to pieces.
I would have to think. You never know unless you're really in the situation. But if that were me, I do think I would be saying out loud to no one, you got to be kidding me.
Right.
Come on, seriously, Bear. No. Come on, Bear.
Bear.
Come on. I'm literally, I survived the car crash, but now you're here.
Oh, what a week I'm having.
Yeah. That's exactly it.
You don't suppose that bear, it's like a learned behavior. Yeah, people crash here all the time. I just hang out here. Oh, there's another one. And you just go over and pull him right out of the car.
Well, there was the story last week about the orangutan who's healing himself. An orangutan got injured in a fight.
Yeah.
And in Indonesia, there was the scientists that are observing this group of animals. Mm-hmm. There's a leaf, a plant in that area that is not something orangutans normally eat. They watched an adult male orangutan chew these leaves that have a natural painkiller in them.
Amazing.
And then he converted the leaves into a paste and put the paste on his own wounds, and it healed him up infection-free within a few days.
Wow, we need to kill that orangutan.
Yeah,
they're
that
getting too
orangutan's
smart.
gotta go.
But
Yeah.
in Planet of the Apes, the orangutans were the smart ones.
That's right.
You know,
and I don't know if they call him Cornelius, but I'm sure so would.
Dr. Zayas.
Dr. Zayas.
That's right.
I was
He was
going
Dr.
to say
Zayas.
Gaius.
Dr. Zayas.
Right.
Dr. Zayas. What was that song? Had like a minute on the top 100. Dr. Zayas. Dr. Zayas.
I think you're thinking of Amadeus.
I know, but it was all right. Now I'm looking it up. I'm looking it up.
Yeah, it could be. I've heard a bear. Well, I've seen a bear. I've seen a black bear in the Smoky Mountains in Tennessee. A little area on a drive with the family, and there's a part of a state park, and you're driving through it, and you're like, hey, there's some black bears right there. Holy crap. And then once in Woodstock, New York, up in the woods outside of Woodstock, I watched a mother bear and her cubs just roll right through the yard of the house I was standing in, probably 30 yards away. That was pretty cool. Black bears up there.
Oh, yeah.
But I was out in Yosemite, out in California once, and we were a bunch of us had camped out in tents right at the base of Half Dome, and a ranger came through the first day, a park ranger, and he said, there is a mother bear with cubs that's been in this area a lot. Just FYI, got to be careful.
Yeah.
They can get really aggressive, especially with their cubs. And this guy he was just all business, park ranger guy. He's got a 45 on his hip. And
absolutely. Spray.
And I said to him, but if we see one of the cubs, I said I should pick it up, right, to show Mama that I'm affectionate, like give the cub love.
You said that?
And this guy, honest to God,
arrested you on the spot.
He wanted to. He looked at me and was angry. He's like, you think that's funny, but it's not. He had no time for my nonsense.
It's
and
kind of funny.
I'm like, dude, come on. Obviously, I'm not going to pick up a cub.
Should I expose my breast and nurse the cub and help out the mother? Because
but that night, as we're all getting ready we're getting into our tents. There's a group of us, and we're in 5 different tents, and we all said, hey, if anybody hears a bear at night, if you hear the bear, we got to signal everybody else, we want to, and somehow we ended up with, we'll sing the bear song. And the bear song is the Monty Python spam song.
Yes.
But instead of spam, it's just bear,
Bear, bear, bear, bear, bear, bear.
And so we all said, okay, if anybody hears a bear, just start singing the bear song. And I kid you not, sound asleep, and all of a sudden I just wake up like this, poof, wide awake, and I just hear this right outside the tent, and it's snorting, and you can hear the little foot, and I'm like, there's a bear right outside. I'm like, oh my God. And the guy sleeping next to me, he sits up, like all of a sudden he wakes up, and the first thing he did was he put his hand over my mouth, like, shut, don't make it. I'm like, I'm already awake, you dumbass. You just woke up. But we laid there and listened to this bear rooting around.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at him like we can see each other a little bit. I'm like, do the song. And he's like, don't do the song. And I'm like, but we said we would. And then and we're just, but then I'm like, man, and we're in a nylon tent. It's like nothing.
First of all, the bear, they don't go by the vision. They've got the vision of human beings. It's not like, oh, wait, are they awake? Are there humans in there? They can smell you 2 miles away.
Yeah.
He knows you're in there.
And we're just, and then we're both like, then the longer I'm laying there listening, even as it walked away, I was just getting more and more terrified. I'm like, wait, this is no longer just kind of funny.
Right.
That's a bear right outside this zipper. And then eventually it just walked away. And but it was minutes of just going and coming back and going around, coming back. It was just going through all of our tents.
Yeah.
Eventually it leaves. We both eventually fall back asleep. Sunrise, everybody wakes up. There's paw prints everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
And everybody in the camp was like, I was just too afraid to do the song. Everybody was awake, and nobody did the song.
What did you expect to happen if you started doing the bear song? What would you guys have done? Just all sing along?
What if the bear joined in?
I think we all just thought it was irresponsible not to let everyone else know, like, I'm about to die, so I want to sing a song to you. I don't know what we were thinking.
Yeah, no, it all goes out the window as soon as the bear shows up. By the way, as we wrap up and bounce, Dr. Zayas.
Yeah.
Dr. Zayas.
You know what it's from?
Yes. Hold on.
Dr. Zayas.
Yeah, it's
Dr. Zayas.
It's Dr. Zayas.
Oh, it's going to drive you crazy. The Simpsons go to Broadway.
Of course, The Simpsons. Yeah.
Yes.
Planet of the Apes, the musical.
That's it.
Dr. Zayas. Dr.
Zayas. In case you're approached by an orangutan, Dr. Zayas is the song to sing.
Man, that is awesome. All right. Well, so far, so good. We do have 4 really, really great ways and 4 really, really bad ways to start your day. We'll share coming up in just a few minutes. Hang tight.
Come on, baby. Take the money and run.
Oh, fly like an eagle.
How you doing?
I'll
tell you,
Miller Band.
Our boy Steve here got up in the middle of the night to check on his friends in Nashville who may or may not have been experiencing some flash flooding. And I got to, my daughter called me at 1 o'clock in the morning one time to tell me she was okay. I'm like, what? Because there's only a couple of numbers that can ring through to me.
Right.
In my favorites list, when you put your phone on disable, I have a couple of young ladies named Taylor and Sydney that can ring through. And at 1 o'clock in the morning, I get the call from Taylor.
Yeah.
So you look at your phone, you have that terrifying moment of, there's only one reason my child, thank God it's my child calling. Hopefully she's on the other end and it's not her boyfriend. I quickly, She's like, Dad, I'm okay. Okay. Are you just...
Thanks.
Right? Why wouldn't you be okay?
Yeah.
There had been a mass shooting in Las Vegas. Remember that at the MGM Hotel?
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
At the concert?
At the concert. And she worked in Las Vegas. She goes, I didn't want you to wake up early in the morning, see that many people had been gunned down in Las Vegas, and be worried about me. And I went, oh, there has been? So now I'm trying to decipher. I'm like, what? Disseminate that information. I'm like, okay, but you're okay. She goes, I'm fine. I'm at home. I wasn't down there. I'm like, oh, okay, thanks, kiddo. All right. She goes, all right, go back to sleep.
Good luck with that.
Now I know there's a mass. So I jump on my phone and I'm like, oh my God, the horror of that and the entire thing. But there wasn't any going back to sleep. You got woke up in the middle of the night with an alarm.
And by the way, I do the do not disturb every night. This is the first time I haven't. I don't know how it happened where I somehow didn't engage. And I'm actually surprised I hadn't been that something didn't wake me up ahead of that. But I didn't get a call from my daughter. I got a robocall warning me about flash flooding in Nashville, Tennessee, a town I left, 16 months ago. Like, hey, thanks.
Yeah.
Never got that when I lived there. Hey, you're in Minnesota, right? Okay, well, anyway, there's some flooding 900 miles away, and we need to wake you up a little before midnight to let you in on that. And then that was it. I was up for the duration. I thought I would get back to sleep. It just never happened. I will say this. And I was just lost in a trance listening to that song, Take the Money and Run, Steve Miller Band. Fly Like an Eagle album was, so The Joker came out in like 73, big hit for Steve Miller, and then he doesn't do anything for 3 years, but then Fly Like an Eagle's huge. I mean, that was the epic 5 massive hit singles. Couldn't get away from that record. We took a drive. We took a summer drive. We went on vacation. And so to a beach in South Carolina where my brother lived, about a 12-hour drive one summer, the family in the car, and we had 2 8-track cassette tapes.
Just two?
Yeah.
We had Abbey Road and Fly Like an Eagle.
Okay.
Beautiful.
And that's all we listened to for 12 hours. And there'd occasionally you'd find a radio station, but then you would lose it. And it just got to the point where it was like, the radio's so, it never lasts. It doesn't sound good. You can't find a song you like. And I remember thinking, like, well, the more we listen to these tapes, the songs will go faster. Like, in our mind, we thought it would make the time pass more quickly.
Yeah.
And I was already very familiar with Abbey Road, but Fly Like an Eagle was just out. I mean, it was just kind of the new thing.
Yeah.
I mean, by the time we got to the beach, my mom knew every word to every song. And she's a barbershop singer, and she does barbershop harmonies.
Oh, funny.
And she's just driving along, and she's, come on, take the money and run. You know, those off-kilter barbershop harmonies on everything. And
Steve, jump in on the off.
Oh,
Give me a
my gosh.
baritone.
Do, 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 do.
Yeah, we did the...
Fly like an eagle. It was like all those, they were like, Mom, stop doing barbershop. Just sing it.
You can't stop.
Oh, my God. No, you can't. She's on a tear. She's driving, so she's the boss.
Yeah,
That's how that
did
was.
South Dakota, Wyoming, back when I was growing up, there was country. That was it. One country AM radio station and the one country FM radio station. That was about it. So we'd grab our box of cassettes, that was the turn in that age there where you put down the Hot Wheel suitcase and you picked up the cassette suitcase. Someone forgot the cassette suitcase.
Oh, my God.
I'm like, well, what's in the cassette player? Back in Black. Fantastic. Had just come out. But that was 13 hours of Back in Black and then all the way home. Yeah. It's like, all right, here we go. Back in Black.
All right.
I have to say, I guess, I'm glad to be here we go.
Yeah, that's nice.
Again, all over again, and again, and again, and again.
So I did mention we have we have good and bad habits for the morning, things that can help or hinder. Let's go to the good. There's 4 good morning habits apparently.
All right, I'm ready.
Let's see if any of these make any sense. I already hate this list. Focus on what you want to achieve and make a list.
No, I'm not. If you make who gets up early enough to be able to make a list to stay in bed?
I make a list before I do a specific thing, like go to the grocery store or, once I'm awake and have already gotten coffee and I'm doing whatever, if I have to, let's say I got to send that package and then I should pick up some broccoli and then I got the dry cleaning, whatever it is.
Before work?
No, no, not after work. Like, I'm doing nothing for us. For us coming into work this early, this is completely moot. We're not doing anything at 3 a.m.
No.
But I'm just saying, generally speaking, I'll make a list, but like as a daily habit, as a plan every day for normal. No, stop that. Number 2, start with some deep breathing. No. I'm not going to start with deep breaths.
I like to start with some big hacks.
Yeah, I was just
okay, wait.
That turned into a real one, didn't it?
I was just asleep for hours. I was just breathing very deeply.
Right.
Okay, here's another one. Look at something that makes you smile.
Ooh, laying right there next to me.
Think about hanging something in your bedroom that sparks joy. A picture from a fun vacation or a piece of art you really love. There are photos I can picture right now off the top of my head of my family, my wife, and my kids that I love certain pictures for whatever reason.
Sure.
Yeah.
But if I stuck it right there as I'm going to look at this every day, by day 3, I'm like, I used to love that picture.
You again.
Now it's the pressure that this better make me feel good.
Yeah. God, I wish I would have paid for Taylor's orthodontics. Look at those teeth. No,
Close your mouth, honey.
No, she has beautiful teeth because we got the braces.
Number 4, get moving. Not a full workout, just some light stretching to help get your day started. Okay, now I will stand up and I'll do the good stretch and a couple deep breaths there as I'm doing it. But that's about as much as I can commit to.
And you're right. We get up too early to exercise. But there are people that get up at 6 and they roll out of the door at 8 or whatever, 7:30. They've got a little time to kill. But I could never get into that morning workout routine. I mean, in the Army I did.
Well,
because you had to.
But the things you shouldn't do to start your day.
All right.
Don't wake up to an alarm. I mean, I do. I don't very often because I usually wake up ahead of it. If I set my alarm for 4:15, I will look up at 4:12. I mean, that's just my brain just will not let me. The odd occasion that I do sleep up until my alarm goes off, usually the first thing I hear after that alarm is my own cussing. I immediately come out with profane language. I can't. I don't mean to. I'm just like, as I'm looking for the phone.
Yeah.
That's what happens. It's just natural.
And that's the first thing I do in the morning.
I knew it.
I hit the snooze twice this morning, and I never remember hitting it the first time. I know you're not supposed to do it. I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But it's involuntary. The first time I hit the snooze, never know that I do it.
But that's exactly what Rosemary does.
Yeah.
She's a couple cycles in, and she never knows the first or second time even. I never hit the snooze button.
No. You're not supposed to.
You're not supposed to.
What the hell they put it on there for?
The other thing it says is don't immediately try to problem solve.
Okay.
What else are you supposed to do in your waking life?
Right.
How do I pee without getting out of bed?
Here it is. You know what? I used to have a whole thing. I'd say like the guy who develops the bed with a hole in it so you can just roll over and pee. That guy's getting all my money.
Right.
That groggy feeling is called sleep inertia. It typically lasts 15 minutes to an hour. So you want to ease into your day before you start trying to solve anything.
Before you try to find your car from the night before?
Or I guess I solve anything like the problems of the world or a crossword, I guess. Just give yourself some time. I'm not sure. It also says don't drive straight into emails. Reaching for your phone to read the news is one thing, but you shouldn't check your inbox as soon as you wake up. It's immediately stressful, and you're not ready to problem solve yet. I do look at my emails, but I don't look at all of them. I'm generally, this is what I do. It's like, is there anything that I have to know? It's like I'm looking for bad news.
Yeah,
it's just like,
scroll.
I'm just trying to quickly eliminate, okay, I don't have to worry about anything.
I get 70 emails a day. I'm not even kidding. And 68 of them are trash, garbage, junk mail.
Yeah,
that's the thing. It's, you could send me something terribly important. I just couldn't find that needle in the haystack every day. There's got to be a better way. And then Maria says things like, well, you can get on the the unsubscribe thing doesn't work. They just ignore that. They'll power right through that. But apparently there's this thing you can do, and tomorrow i'll make a list.
I think the thing to do is get a new email address every couple months and just give it to, and every time just give it to fewer and fewer people.
It's one of these days.
Finally, don't focus on what went wrong yesterday. What is this, a comedy show? Are you kidding?
That's a plaque on the wall.
As I'm sipping comedy, I have to run through the gauntlet of what I messed up yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or who screwed me over.
Who doesn't
who's trying to ruin my life?
Who do I destroy today?
I stew. I'm a stewer.
Yeah.
I'll sit there and it'll just percolate through the day, and then you'll get a text from me at like 4 p.m. You know what? It'll be something you said to me at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
I'm like, no, I'm going to text him. No, I'm not. Yeah, I am. I'm going to text him. No.
Yeah. I have gotten into the habit of with emails and or text sometimes, I will write my reply and then I just set it in the drafts because And it took me a long time because
I can't.
I have fired off a handful of emails over the years that I still. I mean, if I could do anything, I would just go back and take them back. And it's not even because the result was anything bad. It's just embarrassing for the person that got it. Was like, oh, he's in a bad mood, and probably just went on with their day. But to me, it's so embarrassing to look back and realize I've been like. I read an email from somebody, and I don't even read it twice. I read it once, and immediately I'm firing off the hottest reply ever. And then you go back and recognize, like, there's nowhere near the attitude in the first email that I replied with. Like, I projected all of my ennui onto that note. This is just here's the facts, this is what's happening, and I'm reading it like, Steve, you flaming asshole. And like, then you look back and go, whoa, that's, oops.
It's just, unfortunately, I do that without emails. You guys have all experienced that. My first, always initial reaction is just hot. Quickly followed by, hey, listen, sorry, I'm an a-hole. What were you saying? Yeah, that does make sense. Let's do that.
No, I've heard voicemails and read emails, and even, like I said, text messages. And my first take is I read it with so much passion, and either so much anger or so much disgust, and so much I'm so disappointed in you, Steve. And like literally an hour later, I'm like, I got to respond to that, and I read it the second time. I'm like, this is fine.
They didn't even use the word disappointed.
No, they didn't even infer. They didn't even imply.
They didn't even say Steve.
They just said, it's spam.
Yes.
It's like I didn't ask for a penis enlargement email. They're doing me.
My God! Yes.
Oh my God! It really is like the. But so anyway, but I do now. I will oftentimes write an email, and even if I don't just put it in draft, I stop. I think about it. I get back. I will double check and read. Just a few too many, hot replies that were not. There was no need for heat whatsoever.
You live and you learn.
That's the goal. That's hope springs eternal.
Sure does.
That's what we're trying for around here. And speaking of learning. It's always a good day when you learn. They say, or at least I say they say. If you ain't learning, you ain't living. So,
hell yeah.
Let's get to living, shall we? How about a sports and music history lesson? Hang tight.
The KQ Morning Show is back. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. Aerosmith covering the Beatles Come Together. Of course, the Beatles Let It Be movie hit Disney Plus yesterday. A refurbished, remastered, rebuffed, brand new, the original Let It Be movie from 1970. Not the Get Back from 2 years ago. Not the Peter Jackson 8-hour opus, but the 90-minute Get Back. I'm sorry, the 90-minute Let It Be film from the same sessions is on Disney Plus. And Zepp, you started to watch it yesterday. You said all you've seen so far is a lot of songs that ultimately ended up on Abbey Road.
A lot of it. I would say most of the songs they're covering in the opening 20 minutes, and I realized it was too late. I was just going to take a peek, which is stupid. But I got about 20 minutes in and went, okay, I got to shut this down. I'm going to be too stimulated. It's going to be too late at night. I'm going to be yawning like a Steve Gorman in the morning. And so but anyway, getting 20 minutes in, I thought it would just be sort of a very condensed version of all the Get Back footage that we saw. I've not seen the original from 1970, Let It Be. It's very different, different, and looks brilliant. Opens up with a wonderful interview that sets the stage perfectly between Lindsay Michael Hogg, the director of the 1970 Let It Be, and Peter Jackson. And I'm super excited to watch the rest of this play out.
I think I imagine a lot of people, because I certainly used to think this way. You imagine an album that you love. You pick up an album, it's 10 or 11 or 12 songs, and in your mind, the artist was in a studio with those songs in mind, and they put this together just like that. Like, these are the songs that are going to go together and are going to fit perfectly. And the reality is, certainly for the Beatles anyway, they just went to they were constantly in the studio recording. And there would be like, hey, we got an album, dude. Do we have 12 songs? Do we have 14 songs yet? We do? Yeah, that's the record. Like, when the Beatles were putting out, Rubber Soul, they weren't thinking, it's got to be these songs. They just had a good batch of songs, and then they ended up being on the album. And to your point, they're in the studio making what became Let It Be, but they're already working on songs that were also on Abbey Road. It's just here's the next song, here's the next song, here's the next song.
They get a bit and a piece here and there.
And as soon as 10 of them are ready, then that's your next record.
Yeah.
It's not I think as a fan, I used to get a record by a band, and I just thought this was a master plan. These songs were written to be put together forever in this order with this artwork. So Steve Gorman, can appreciate this.
Yeah.
The Rolling Stones were just on the road. Led Zeppelin was on the road. In between dates, they would record 2 songs. Then they'd go play a week of shows, get a day off, go record a song.
Yeah.
And it just happens. It's not like, there's magic to a finished album. You take it home and you create a universe of that music in your head.
Yeah.
But to the artist, it's like, no, that was just Thursday. And that's the song we wrote that day.
Yeah.
And it happened to, be ready at a time when it made it with all these other songs.
You really get a sense of that with this new one. I will say that about 15 minutes in, they do a close-up of John Lennon and Paul McCartney at the microphone working through Two of Us.
Mm-hmm.
And it's pretty much what we know as the finished version, but they're really just goofing on each other. They're having a little fun.
Yeah.
And it's almost lip to lip. It's their two heads in this really big shot at this perfect time in their lives, really enjoying each other's presence and playing off each other. And I thought that might be the greatest piece of Beatle film that I've ever seen in my life. I rewound it and watched it again. And I went, okay, you've got to go to bed, dude. You're getting all fired up here. But there is a lot of value in this. If you think, well, I saw 8 hours of Get Back, you know what? Let it be. Check in with it when you can.
Yeah, I still say that's the only band that people will spend 8 hours with. I mean, because those characters are they're almost like cartoon characters.
Yeah.
The 4 members of the Beatles had such distinctive, but all in their own way, very powerful personalities.
Yeah.
And they are like kind of superheroes. Like, you just have those 4 people, and watching them in the studio, you watch a lot of bands in the studio, the song they write and record is amazing, but they're just dudes sitting there being boring as hell.
Right.
They're just in another place. Only the Beatles can write those songs and still be funny. Like, they're just on at all times.
Yeah, what attracted them to Brian Epstein when he went and saw them in the cavern, that charm, that interaction, that wit, that just childlike goofiness, all very present so
Chemistry.
far. Yeah, chemistry.
Hi, this is John Lennon on KQRS in Minneapolis, and hi to you all, and rock on.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'm not going to argue with that.
Nope.
George Martin said he signed the Beatles. He said not because they were great musicians. He said they were exceptional people.
Yeah.
And he goes, they would walk into the room and the electricity would change in the room, no matter where they were. And he said, and it was only if it was all 4 of them. 3 of them, it was fun. 2 could be good. They're all great. But he said, but when the 4 of those guys entered a room, the chart, like the ions all shifted. And it just changed. He said, they were exceptional people, and I just wanted to be around them.
To be this one-of-a-kind phenomenon, you couldn't just have their body of music, which stands alone, of course, but there had to be something more to reach that alone, that one-of-one stage. And that's what it is, the chemistry, and that's why these films are still fascinating, and I'm excited to finish it.
Yeah, I think that chemistry they had is undeniable. Any great band, it truly is. The chemistry is what separates good bands from great bands.
Right.
And it's and for the Beatles, their chemistry, a lot of it was just funny. They were very humorous guys. Like they were on British variety shows early in their career, and they would be in skits. And they were all great at it. Like, they were just entertainers. They were all so gifted that way. Whereas a band like Led Zeppelin, you can't imagine Jimmy Page, like, running shtick. Like, you wouldn't see Jimmy Page be in a skit on SNL the way Paul McCartney could do the Chris Farley show, or step in. But that said, I will say this. I've been on the road with both Robert Plant and Jimmy Page, so I've known those guys. And I've been in places with Robert, like go out to dinner with him or go to a club, and people are like, oh, hey, there's Robert Plant. You can tell, like, oh, whoa.
Yeah.
And then you go somewhere, and if you're Jimmy Page, people are like, oh, man, this Jimmy Page.
Yeah.
But if you're ever in a place where the 2 of them are there together, it's like, it's Led Zeppelin. All of a sudden, it's Led Zeppelin. It's not that guy from Led Zeppelin. It's just like, and that is a palpable, that energy charge thing. I've felt it because I've been somewhere and one of them's there and then the other guy comes in and everyone in the room immediately is like, it's both of them
Led
right there
Zeppelin's
together.
Yep.
And I was at a club in Nashville in 2015. The Rolling Stones played in Nashville. And Bobby Keys, their saxophonist, for the late, great Bobby Keys, he had passed away 6 months earlier. So the night before they played the big stadium, there was a Bobby Keys night of celebration at a club in town. Now, Bobby lived in Nashville. He was a friend of mine, and I played a bunch of shows with him. We bunch of guys, we put a band together. Bobby would get off the road. He's a saxophonist, and he would lose his lungs. Like, he's not playing. And then every time the Stones would be ready to tour, he's like, I got to go get in shape. You'd have to get on the treadmill. And so we were talking with him once, and we said, well, let's just play gigs when you're in town. We'll just not put a band together, and we'll just play all those great Stones songs. And
shape,
John Lennon songs. He's played on everybody's records.
Wow.
So we had this thing, Bobby Keys and the Suffering Bastards. It was a blast. And so we had a night to celebrate Bobby, and so the band was going to play. It was just going to be this big night of celebration the night before the Stones played the next day. And Bobby's son, Jesse, worked on the Stones tour, and he gave us word. He said, hey, so they're all going to come down. Like, the Stones are going to be there. And we're like, that's really cool. Good for them. And so in my immediate mind, I'm like, well, they'll be backstage. They'll be just on the side of the stage. And it's a club. It holds maybe 300 people. Well, they were just out in the house. I mean, it was the night celebrating their friend. And I walked into this club.
Grabbed a high top or what?
I walked into this. Yeah. Mick and Keith were sitting together in a club at a high top table.
All right. Yeah.
Just the two of them. And look, I've met these guys. I've been around. But I walked into this club in Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm like, oh, they're right there. And there's just people are just milling around them. And they were just hanging. And it was just like, it was really, I was surprised at how much I was like, I just keep looking. That's the two of them. What are they talking about? Holy crap. Well, they're talking about, their friend Bobby and probably judging the band on how well the band's playing or whatever they're doing, They didn't get up and perform. They didn't do that at all. They weren't going to take away the thunder of all the local musicians who wanted to play, but it was just that same kind of thing of like, holy smokes, man. There's certain people, there's just like gamma rays bouncing off their shoulders. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. I can't imagine. There's a lady, I remember when they were here and played, so it would have been a couple of tours ago. They were at TCF Bank Stadium. I forget exactly what year it was. Anyway, why guess? And Mick Jagger and Charlie Watts are spotted at a local antique store. Charlie Watts bought a tea set. Apparently, liked to collect tea sets.
Of course he did.
Yeah, and he bought a tea set in St. Paul, and they were set. And the lady on the news goes, you know what? I'm not even a big fan. Of course, I know who the Rolling Stones are, but I'm not a big fan. But as soon as they walked in and I saw those two together, she said, I couldn't even speak. I couldn't even talk to them. She goes, I realized the two icons had just walked in, and then Charlie bought a tea set.
As you do.
As you do. And had it mailed.
Charlie Watts, the man who had an incredible car collection and never drove one of them. Never learned how to drive. He would sit in his cars and literally be like, and pretend to be driving them.
You're not just driving around the grounds, take it out and rip around the castle.
He would do a little bit of that, but seriously, I mean, he made it to 80 and he's never drove a car in traffic in his life.
I wouldn't drive around London myself. But,
well, no, that's a lot of problems right there, to be sure. So chiropractor, you go ever?
Oh, yeah, I used to back in the day, and then I had a bad experience. My neck kind of twisted up a little bit. But, yeah, my gymnastics kid, Sid, used to go to a sports therapeutic chiropractor.
Yeah, no, I've been off and on. Had sometimes I'm regular, and then I let it float. But I'm down with it. Tony, yay or nay on the chiropractor?
Never been.
Never been. Okay.
No, never had to.
Well, I am asking because there's a story that we just came across where a chiropractor was having a pretty great day because he was able to make an adjustment on what he called the largest neck in the world. So I'm imagining, like we told yesterday about that offensive lineman for the Eagles who eats, an 8-egg omelet and a 20-ounce steak before every game. And or I'm thinking, I'm picturing like a sumo wrestler.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, the biggest neck in the world. No, It's not that kind of a neck. It's a whole different neck. Do we have this guy's audio?
Here it is.
Being able to work on a giraffe is a chiropractor's dream. I mean, it's the largest neck in the world.
His jaw was not moving to the left.
Their hair is pokey and their tongues are really slimy. Oh, it's like a short-haired cactus. And they're a lot more appreciative, I think, than some of my human patients.
Really? All right.
Adjusting a giraffe's neck. The hair is kind of pokey. The tongue is kind of slimy.
Short-haired cactus.
There's a little footage of him, but like literally, he's on a giant. He's on like the balcony level. The giraffe's head is the eye level. And he's just got this thing wrapped up, and he's just cracked a giraffe's neck.
You ever see on the National Geographic shows giraffes go at it? They hit each other with their heads. They've got those two horns up there, and they're wrapping their necks around.
Yeah, they'll wrap their necks around. Yeah,
that's how they fight. That would worry me if I'm a chiropractor. Does the giraffe know what's about to happen here? Am I going to get knocked about 3 blocks away? But no, he was very into it.
Imagine the rams that smash each other's heads like that. With all that those big. What do you call those?
Horns, yeah.
Thank you. The horns on their head. That talk about some serious. You've got some serious degenerated discs, young ram. Gotta watch yourself.
Smacko.
I mean, if I can mess up the discs in my neck just from playing drums, how does a ram getting through the day?
You know, my last chiropractor thing I went in for, and like I said, it didn't go well, but I don't want to get into it. But you know how I threw out my neck? Checking my blind spot. Driving.
Sure.
I just went,
doesn't take much.
Oh my God. Holy. Yeah. What happened? Well, I was checking my blind spot.
I sneezed my neck into a lot of pain. Seriously.
Seriously? Well, yeah.
One sneeze, and I was like, I could not turn to the left Now, you always hear about that, too, like with baseball pitchers or something, you know, they're out for the day, and there's been sneezing attacks blamed for injuries with athletes. Not, enough of an injury. Well, if you're a pitcher, you can't really have anything wrong with you. You're going to throw a ball at a human at 100 miles an hour. You got to feel good. It's like a minor injury for a baseball pitcher is not a minor injury.
Right.
If it's throwing you off, it's worth noting. The Como Park Zoo and Conservatory in St. Paul is going to have a whole bunch of people coming in soon because apparently a whole bunch of people like the way rotting flesh smells.
Oh, it's that time of year. Yeah, this is
the corpse flower.
Right. Have you ever smelled one of these things, man?
No. I've seen it on TV, and I've seen the faces of people who are smelling it.
Have you?
You smelled it, Brian?
Oh, yes. I went over there one year. This thing gets to be a big deal. Every spring it blooms, and we all flock over to the conservatory. It's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. If you need a little early summer humidity, the conservatory's got it cooking over there right now. But I grew up on a farm, and we had dead animals. Occasionally, cattle would die or whatever would die, and it would sit around in the sun until we could get it properly disposed of. So I have smelled decaying human flesh, but I have smelled decaying flesh, and this flower nails it.
This corpse flower is named Horace, by the way. Horace is going to show off its rare and pungent bloom. There's going to be a live stream. The wording is, please watch as Horace unfurls its massive, unbranched inflorescence and emits its distinctive scent of rotting flesh.
Well, but it's a video stream. I think you really lose it. Otherwise, it just blooms. It looks kind of wild. But
if you can't make it, you might want to
throw some old meat on the counter, perhaps, and let it sit there for a couple of days.
Apparently, this particular type of flower, this corpse flower, comes from Indonesia. There are only less than 1,000 remain in the wild.
Yeah, why would you let them remain? It would. Yeah.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
Pull it and plant a lilac.
I saw a thing. So I've never smelled these, but I did smell a fruit once, and I can't remember the name. But it's an Asian fruit it smells the same thing. And people will eat it.
Eat it?
But you cut it open and it just smells like death. I mean, that's just all, or what I imagine death to smell like.
Have you had a strawberry? Have you tried a watermelon?
Yeah.
They're everywhere.
If you tried a strawberry, it's that fruit that doesn't make you vomit. Yeah. Really, give it a whack. Dip it in chocolate. Knock yourself out. Go wild. My favorite stupid criminal story of the day: a gentleman in Miami was arrested. He etched his name into the hood of a car. He just walked up to a car and he wrote these words: "The name is Enderlin Leounce." That's his name. Enderlin Leounce. He wrote those words with like a key. He etched into a hood. The name is
like an ex-girlfriend or something.
Enderlin Leounce.
Yeah, I wanted to know she was. Yeah.
The car that he etched his name into the hood happened to be a police car.
What a moron! Yeah. Why? Why not just go?
So you know what the cop did? He punched that name into his system, and sure enough,
came right up.
Enderlin Leounce. He lived like a block away. And they went to his house, and he goes, yeah, I did that.
He just wanted to go to jail, getting tired, couldn't pay his rent.
He was arrested, and then he said he's originally from Haiti, and he goes, I want to go to jail or just send me back to Haiti, but this ain't working.
Good route.
They took him to jail. He's facing charges for criminal mischief.
Yeah, that's not enough. They're not going to deport you to Haiti probably for that. You're not going to be in for very long. We can lock you up for the weekend, man, but I'd watch out for him. He's going to have to kill someone to get a nice long stay.
Noble effort.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Hey, 3 squares a day. You guys still offering that?
Yeah.
All right. What do I got to do?
Yeah.
Let's make this thing happen. Okay. Well, speaking of weird fruit, there are. And this is from Del Monte. There are pineapples on the market right now. They're called Ruby Glow. A Ruby Glow pineapple, slightly red on the outside.
Okay.
And the Del Monte Fruit Company has 5,000 of them available to sell. They're not that much different from a normal pineapple, other than, of course, the slightly red tint on the outside.
Okay.
As they only have 5,000 of them, you may imagine they cost a little more than the average pineapple. These cost $400 each.
But you said it tastes about the same.
It's about the same.
It's just slightly red?
The only remarkable thing is they're slightly red on the outside. They describe, Del Monte, the inside as bright yellow with a sweet flavor, which is how I describe pineapple.
Impress your friends at the dinner party.
Right? That's just when you have too much money. Look, no, they're slightly red. Okay,
and then
cool.
one guy said, well, no, it's not. It's a little less bitter than pineapple. If you have a bitter pineapple, you're eating it too soon or too late.
Right. It's not bitter.
Yeah. So it's a scarcity thing.
Nice
400.
try.
You can get them online, order them. A normal pineapple's between $3 and $4.
Okay.
So this one's about $400.
Okay. Try hard.
Here's the problem. If you're buying this pineapple, you're a douchebag. And then if you're buying it to impress someone, which would mean they would know what it is by sight.
Yeah.
They're also a douchebag.
Right.
So at least this is one of those things where I go, well, at least all the douchebags are hanging out in the same room.
Yep, we know. And we put down the red pineapple, and whoever buys it and then wants to eat it.
It's like when you see a couple get married and they're both completely bat crap crazy. You're like, well, at least they didn't ruin 2 other people's lives. It's that kind of thing.
Take it out on each other.
Yeah.
Right.
So if you're going to buy that $400 pineapple, sorry, man, it must be tough.
Yeah, I hope they didn't put a lot of money into. Why would you even make it, Del Monte? Whatever.
They you know what happened? They literally, somebody came up with a little, some food coloring, and they were like, if I put this on there, I bet they'll think this is natural.
And it'll sell out. The more expensive. What do you think? What's an outrageous price? $400. $400. People, I gotta have it. I've got to have it.
By the way, I bought a cucumber the other day, and it was like $2.04 for one cucumber. And I was like, come on, man, what's happening? What's going on with this? Seemed like a lot of money for a cucumber.
A lot of money.
It's a good investment, though. It's a smart move.
Yeah.
Well, it did the job. I mean, I look like I'm just packing a wallop. So, that's, you're right. It's worth every bit of that.